Good day, Warcraft fans out there. Today's the day, the final day, the third day of RARALAND. The Arcadia World Series tournament is going to come to a close today with 5 matches to determine our winner. We're going to start off with a match between two regions. Sock, heralded as the best human player in the world right now, going up against undoubtedly Germany's best player, XLorD. He's, of course, undead. This is going to kick off our day, the first best of 5. The couch said that XLorD is the favorite here. And I got to say, I feel in a similar way.
Yeah, it should be so. Are we counting out Sock too quickly, though? Because I think he's been very impressive in this matchup for a long time, especially back when the meta was Death Knight and regular Ted Fiends. But I think the game's already ready, so let's just hop right onto it, Remo. Let's go.
Absolutely. And off we are. We begin our first game of the day in the top... Nope, never mind. In the top left. Representing Mousesports, Germany and the Undeads, it's XLorD. And his opponent to the bottom right, all the way from South Korea, the best human player in the world. Give it up for Sock. Tidehunters, our first map, where over a period of many months, we have already seen that the matchup has shifted, and we see it presented already here in the production tab. It is the Lich first being picked by XLorD. There's many different strategies Undeads can go for in this matchup. Old school Ted Fiend build, for example, which seems to be rather rare, though, nowadays. In Meisterschaft, we even see CryptLord, but perhaps the most potent, the most popular nowadays on the top level is the Lich first fast expansion. And with that, the meta is quite different from what it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Lich is a whole different dynamic. Doesn't have summons like the CryptLord, doesn't have Impale, but has Nova to work with, which is great in dealing not just with peasants, but with any type of units. It kind of discards any air almost on itself too, because Nova level 3 against, Mass Griffin would be pretty amazing, whereas the CryptLord mostly counters ground. So you're almost never going to see any sort of air transition down the line, or at least focused around that. And the key point is the early game here, as it is every time. How many workers can XLorD get? Can he make sure that his Haunted Goldmine goes up? And Sock, on the other hand, how conservative does he want to play here? Does he pull back the peasants? Does he stay there and try and make the tunnel immediately? I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah, both players seem to be eyeing up a fast expansion. Lich shows up, steals the last hit. That's level 2 for him. Sock perhaps creeping that a little bit too slowly, gives that experience over, but it's also more mana that had to be used. The Lich, very dangerous, I also feel like, in the early game against an Archmage. If he focuses on him with right clicks and ghouls and Nova, this AM will have to be careful.
Yeah, and he's going to start working on that, actually, even though not too much mana on that Lich right now. He knows he has Rod of Necromancy. Could be good to get back here, probably, to bring some new ones without having to head on home. But yeah, I think, like, by design here, you're hoping you can achieve as much damage as possible. It's not like you need to kill all units. You're also keeping the human on his side of the map while you're getting your own expansion set up here as XLorD.
And I feel like both players are microing this really well so far. You want to have some units on the hero to pressure him, to force the hero to run. Because even if you can't kill him, if the hero is forced to run, aka Archmage or Lich, you're going to minimize the damage you're taking from him significantly. And of course you have to micro around the rest. Sock, though, is falling behind in expansion timing, but he's getting up an early tower. This is going to be valuable against Lich and against Skellies. And he can now begin his power build. But it does look like the Undead expansion is going to come up first.
Yeah, I wonder if that wave's going to be expected. I see a unit in center kind of chasing the Lich. They've both been chasing one another's hero very, very okay. So now he sees the ghouls. It might be a good time to call a bunch of militia here, because this could do a lot of damage to the peasants building the tunnel.
Nova again, AM forced to fall back a little bit. I'm glad to see, by the way, that finally Sok doesn't just find only rings. The double circlet, I would go so far as to say, against the Lich, perhaps the best thing imaginable. Claws, of course, also very good, but having just a little bit more beefiness against those Novas does help as well.
It's all about the beefiness, isn't it, Remo? I see you started working out again, haven't you? Flexing in all the pictures.
You didn't see me at breakfast this morning, but let me tell you, 200 grams of protein, minimum.
Bulking, not sulking.
That's right. We're going for those heavy gains today.
Not very creep-heavy game here. Past the first 2 camps for Sok, or past the first one for XLorD. They've just been getting into each other's face. XLorD really threatening that expansion, not achieving as many peasant kills as I would have thought. So I think good on Sok to have been able to defend as well as he has. But now we're going to start creeping a little more, heading towards level 3 here for both players. And honestly, good expanding by both players, minimizing losses. I mean, XLorD suffered no loss on his side, and Sok minimized his.
Yeah, we are all too used to seeing lesser human players in ladder and so on, losing quite a few peasants early on, then you're far behind right away, but this AM play was excellent. Speaking of excellent, those items, double circlet and mantle, also boots on the AM, looking very good indeed. The concern though oftentimes can still be that they're going to be far behind in tech compared to the Undead, but XLord's tech is very late. Wait a minute, did he still not start tier 2? XLord, is he still on tier 1? He is. Wow.
He wasn't making acolytes earlier. I was a little bit surprised because, yeah, I mean, you're supposed to, or either that or you get a necropolis on your expansion, like kind of like Craft style. So, not sure exactly what's up with that, but now there it is. He starts the Hall of the Dead, gets the necropolis at the expansion as well. Sok looking to heal up at his expansion. I like the SimCity, but the tower placement is a little bit backwards for Sok, so that might allow the Lich down the line to kind of go for the peasants at the expansion and Nova them repeatedly, in which case you kind of regret not to have put the tower a bit more forwards to prevent that. Against the Lich, that's very common, because Lich range, let me tell you, 800 range on that Nova, a lot of potential for damage.
Yeah, quite a bit longer than Stormbolt, for example. You know who I learned that from? That Stormbolt is only 600 range? Death Note himself. Shout out to the man. Mr. Dispel.
The legend.
Dispel. 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 Anyways, Footy's now in towards the Acolytes and Ghouls on the other side. Water Elementals at home, trying to defend. XLord is looking for some damage. It feels like XLord isn't satisfied with how much he did here, how much he was able to hurt that economy early game. He's now investing heavily into trying to do more damage, but he's losing a lot of Ghouls over here. This AM picks up this experience gladly.
Yeah, you don't want to feed the Archmage that much. And also, killing peasants in the very start is important, because then you prevent human from having the correct lumber expo. But now at this stage, when the expo is already up, Sok might just be able to queue a lot of peasant, which we see here. To kind of catch up on that, he's getting a lumber mill in the main base right now, and yeah, tech differential. It's actually very similar right now on that timing for the tier 2 for both players. And I'm guessing XLorD, this might be a double crypt, double slaughterhouse, which has become the more popular thing to do here in almost every scenario when you go for an expansion like this.
Yeah, I would certainly imagine that. Ideally, the Undead wants to hit early with a tier 3 timing. Reach tier 2, go tier 3 right behind it, go second tier, go a double crypt and slaughterhouse, like you said. And then at around 65 to 70 supply, hit the human economy. Hopefully you did good damage in the early game, and then the human oftentimes just simply doesn't have enough stuff. He has to wait for a long while for knights and maybe gyros and maybe something else, and sometimes he just gets overrun. But with this strong early game for Sok, I don't think XLord can just, you know, A-click into the expansion and face roll over Sok. I would say the Korean so far looks to be in a strong position this game, honestly.
XLord's going to tower up a little bit at his expo here to feel a bit safer. Nice harass. This might actually delay the tier 3 here. Very well done. You also don't want to feed footmen too much, but it's just that few of them. He's even able to get out here. Look at this. He's just run out of there. And in the meantime, find some harass around the expansion. Sok doing fantastic with the harassment, and his castle started earlier than the Black Citadel of XLorD.
Yeah, absolutely amazing game here by Sok. I also want to praise him. This looks like the textbook play that you want to hope to have against an Undead, because this early game has truly been marvelous. Sok, very impressive first showing here of the day. We were all a bit worried because he was a little bit late to the stage, that he might be, you know, have woken up on the wrong foot. But no, looking absolutely excellent so far. But we're also starting to get towards dangerous late game territory. Lich now level 4, and this is really where he starts to be so incredibly strong. Now with level 2 Dark Ritual, he has incredible mana sustain. On level 5, the Nova is insane. But there's one thing about this build also that is worth considering. There is no Frost Armor. So Knights can indeed be very potent against Fiends.
Yeah, usually when you go Lich, it's almost always going to be Death Knight second, and then eventually a Dark Ranger third. And with Mountain King being there now, XLorD sees this, he starts running away on time. Just needs to wait for the Death Knight to be there, maybe to start fighting again. XLorD is very good at getting Burrow usually and fighting very effectively with that, but here he doesn't have it yet. And the double Slaughterhouse on the way now, we see it. Is it maybe it's a bit delayed, or is there a bit of a missed macro by XLorD?
Yeah, I think you're right. By a little bit. Perhaps some lumber was missing, but probably not. He's got 300 still, and also lots of gold on the undead side. More than 1,000, ready to macro up soon, spending some of it now, with perhaps more Fiends on the way. The one thing that Sock doesn't have yet is Dust, so Burrow could indeed come into effect, but currently not being researched. The Death Knight certainly needs to level. Level 2 especially for the Aura, very important.
Where's the Lich? Went all the way back home to buy a mana pots. I actually might want to stick around because Black Citadel is almost complete, so he could just buy the orb immediately. Just moves back out on the map. The Death Knight has the items that kind of belongs on the Lich, by the way, with the Gloves of Haste and Claws, but maybe he can transfer that. Greater mana picked up! Ay, ay, ay! And Burrow plus Web on the way. I think he waited until he was close to 50 supply and then got it. That's kind of the good way to do it. You get all of the upgrades while you're still banking, and then you break after that. Sock actually breaking upkeep before XLorD would do it, and he's going tanks! So someone in the player area earlier was telling me, I think Sock's gonna go tanks, and I was like, no, tanks are bad. Boom, game one. He's right and I'm wrong. There you go. Well done, mate.
Yeah, tanks can be very strong if you can buy time with them, but of course, it's going to be units that don't help you in a fight for a long time. So that shows me confidence from Sock, feeling that he can hold on here against this pressure, even without Gyros, which he's delaying for some time. And with a Stormbolt, he finds the first kill. MK now level 2. I would have loved to see Clap, but he's going Bash here instead. Is that a concern for the late game with big armies, or is that no problem?
Yeah, these days we've seen a lot more Clap actually than before. I think he just wants to have some good lockdown. It's hard to have mana for both, that's the main thing. So he wants to have some good lockdown, and Bash also gives a chance to help out, in particular against Hero, and if you're worried about Banshees later on, which you should always be against someone of the caliber of XLorD. I think XLorD is one of the better Banshee players, by the way. It's really mostly him and Happy, because 1-2-0 just refuses to go Banshees, so that makes it even harder to play against him.
And now Sock is looking to go aggressive here for the first time in a while. He's trying to build up that big tier 3 army. Knights are joining. They're supposed to deal with the Fiends later. And tanks drop into the back. Lots of damage there. First attack upgrade is finished on them. The Acolytes repairing the Narrow. That means the expansion might fall. The Haunted in the back, taking some damage. But now here comes the repair. XLorD TP's home. But his army looks rather small at the moment.
Yeah, there's a healing scroll on the Death Knight, and Invul and healing words. He should be fine. Ghouls are gonna come as well to join the fight here. They've got Frenzy, but the expansion is falling so fast to the tanks, and it actually goes down. There's gonna be so many resources here lost for XLorD, and the Zeppelin picks up and heads for the main. Can he intercept? He's trying to. I think he's sending the... He lassos the Zeppelin with the Fiends, and he's gonna be able to perhaps force the Temple out here ASAP, as Sock is still choosing to stay for now.
Huge rep right there. If those get into the main base, who knows what chaos might ensue. But Sock had to staff out the MK. Can't fight without him, really. May have to TP. Dude, I'm worried about that Call Nova. Sock, though, not sweating it so far. The Paladin is gonna fall. Guts out one more Holy Light, but he will fall indeed. But the Zeppelin...
Oh my god, he escaped!
Yeah, he's ready to go again. He escaped the web. He untangled himself. But Sock knows if he drops into the base, these tanks might be forfeit, and they give lots of experience.
Yeah, but like you need to be in position to kill them ASAP, because otherwise they do a lot of damage over a long period of time. XLorD counter-attack? I think this is a mistake. He needs to be defending against those tanks. Did he think he had killed the Zeppelin or something? This is so weird, because just, I mean, once you've caught the Zeppelin, that's it. It's supposed to be dead, and then you kill the units. He could even have tried to block the surface area where the tanks would land to try and make sure that they get disintegrated, because there's no space for them.
Blizzard coming from the main base. The Nova here could be insane. The Nova now, which is level 3. Oh my god! The damage! Level 3 Nova, absolutely bonkers, but the MK is back in the mix. The Pally has been revived. In the main base, the tanks are still ravaging. This is a stressful game for XLorD. And Sock, despite suffering some losses earlier, is trying to fight his way back. Fiend gets denied with the Dark Ritual. Lots of mana there. This Lich is just pumping out Novas more and more. It's an 8-second slow on an 8-second cooldown, by the way. And say hello to the turtle, please. Turtle? Oh, you missed it. Okay, we're gonna have another opportunity later.
So the tanks actually, like he was targeting the gold mine, but it was getting repaired enough, so he was like, okay, I'll just make sure you're not re-expanding because you have no units at the expansion. So Sok brilliantly picks up and now redrops the tank at the expo. He's looking to supply block XLorD in a second with that ziggurat snipe and maybe even the Necropolis after, being on 2 base the whole time himself.
What an excellent game by Sok. He's got the supply lead now. He's got the huge economy lead. The tank's taking out more infrastructure at the expansion. XLorD didn't re-expand over there. And I think you're right. I think there was a wrong play by XLorD, a wrong call to over-chase there and expose his own base. This time the turtle, please, on the island. Click it.
Nobody cares,
They changed
bro.
the name. All right, sorry to let you down, chat. Anyways, Zeppelin still looking for more shenanigans. And Sok in a winning position now, isn't he?
Yeah, XLorD is not even re-expanding here. 52 supply, literally the worst number after 51.
Wow.
Low upkeep means he's mining way less. What is Sok with 2 bases? I think XLorD's getting desperate. He has to bust the expansion or like do critical damage in the next minute, otherwise he's going to be way too far behind. So he takes down the towers and he's going to force a fight, but careful what you wish for because there are a lot of knights and a lot of gyros as well. The DK is very deep. He sees it bolts. He's going to try to trap him in, but the ghouls get the surround on the mount tanking. There is staff and holy light. No, he's silenced. Yes, he's going to have to staff.
Use that one, saves him that way. There was one heal potion as well. Paladin still very painful, still very vulnerable, I mean. The heroes are extremely strong for XLorD still. Sok cannot underestimate these. He's calling Militia again from the main base. I like that. They might be suffering against Nova, but they do provide some valuable bonus DPS. The Knights also have good normal damage here. And again, no Frost Armor. Such a terrific game by Sok, exploiting the one weakness of this build, the fact that there's no Frost Armor.
Trying to go for a Zig in the main. XLorD very good with the multitasking. Sees it on time, is repairing, but he's also losing a lot of resources doing that. He's getting a single Abom. I think an Abom with Disease Cloud here could do amazing. He would apply that to all of the units. And for now, he's just fighting with, not pretty much, exactly Tri-Hero and 2 statues. And not doing too bad, nuking those Knights.
Good Gyro Scout. Sees the expansion coming up. They don't have Gyro Bombs. Can't attack.
It's on the way.
Oh, it's upgrading already. Dude, Sok is thinking of just everything. I'd love to see a second staff. Oh, he does have it, but it's currently on the MK. Speaking of which, he's back in the mix, ready to throw out some more hammers. But XLorD also has so much more mana left over. The statues have always been doing a great job.
Yeah, the main thing about having Bash as well here is that he's going to focus on bolts, and he's getting closer and closer to bolt level 2. When that hits, there's no Banshees out on the field. XLorD is not even on 2 bases, so there's no prospect of really going for them anytime soon. I think, yeah, going for the statues here will be good because they can't get repaired out on the map. They can kill themselves.
Very timely, Stormbolt follow-up, but he dodges it with the Invo Potion. Saw that one coming. Pally in trouble again, doesn't have level 2, doesn't have Divine Shield, has no way of saving him. That one falls. Staff must have been on cooldown.
The Lich!
The Lich, though, getting trapped. Wait a minute. Stormbolt flies, he takes lots of damage. Coil finds him, but there's an Orb of Fire. Reduced healing. This Lich needs to run.
Oh, the DK. DK and the mount tanking very low. He's going to staff now. I think actually he missed the staff earlier on one of the Knights, and I think now this is the part where you get paranoid. After you miss one staff, you're like, oh, I need to start staffing earlier because I can't keep losing units when I have those staffs up. Double statue production behind it, so he's replacing the ones, or the one at least that he lost. And XLorD still 51 supply. They're just trading non-stop, so neither player actually is like taking off supply-wise. Lich getting closer to 6, by the way. And the Death Knight! Oh my god, he doesn't have any more info and he goes down!
He gets the big kill. This one might lead to the 1-0. XLorD wants revenge. Going for the Archmage. Is there a way of saving? Yes, there is a TP. Always a way to save the first hero. Losing that Archmage would have been very painful. One more Knight, in fact, gonna fall on the way home. But the Gyros still looking to put in some bonus damage. They should not take this fight. 1 or 2 may go down. The Zeppelin is still at the back of the base, but I think the tanks are also very hurt.
Yeah.
XLorD is holding on very well, considering he's down a base for so long, thanks to these super strong heroes. And if he gets the expansion up again, maybe there is still hope for XLorD here.
He didn't restart DK for some reason. He wanted to instant revive no matter what here. I think maybe he anticipates he might get attacked again soon, and he has statues to replenish that mana quicker anyway. I think XLorD should just stay on 50 and then expand. And the problem is that this is going to give a lot of initiative for Sok to maybe creep the whole map. He should definitely try and re-expand, in my opinion. That one Abom, or actually the 2 Aboms, gonna have to do a lot here of tanking at the front with Disease Clouds. He brought the extra Acolytes for Dark Ritual. That's actually very smart, because he's gonna get so much mana out of this to fight even more effectively.
Yeah, the power of the Lich is holding XLorD in this game. And this is where the Lich really completely outclasses the CryptLord. CryptLord could never be this potent in such a low economy, low army supply situation, because the Lich has this unbelievable mana sustain through Dark Ritual, which is not bad.
And Aviary on the way here, Griffin Aviary for Sock. So seeing Aboms, he's like, okay, I need some sort of counter to this. He sees that there is no Fiends. So even though, as I was mentioning earlier, playing Mass Air, is not really possible against Nova level 3, adding a couple Griffins to actually kill these Aboms and get rid of them, it's so much easier to fight once these guys are gone. But right now he has so much that he might just still fight and do well regardless.
This Lich has done 25,000 damage, by the way. Thank you very much, observers, for pointing that one out. Insane DPS from this Lich is close to level 6, at which point he should honestly go Frost Armor. And this might be a big help. Oh! Oil Dodge with the staff saves the next knight as well. Sock has to fight so hard, but one more knight is going to fall. He's got the triple staff, indeed.
That's 4v4 practice, Remo.
I was about to say.
He's been in the pits practicing with the biggest gladiators he could find and strongest. Crixus got nothing on XLorD.
Some of them have animalistic qualities, I heard.
What? It's too early in the day for that.
Oh, the knight. Level 1 Holy Light hardly puts a dent in it anymore, it seems like. DK, far forward. Can he get the kill, though? Not so sure. MK, he might be falling. Potion last second. He needs to transfer something, though the staff is ready, just barely in time. But
2 seconds on the Archmage staff.
Oh my god. But, dude, Soccer's about to lose everything. XLorD, he's just killing non-stop units.
Sock needs to buy time until he has like 3 Griffins. You would love to be able to hide. Oh, Cannibalize just completed. He wants to feast on those bodies, man. Just like you yesterday with that Currywurst backstage and the pumice.
Oh, and he's going for the ult. Death and Decay. First time this tournament, the Lich ultimate is selected, not Frost Armor. And that's going to be the expansion going down. We may have been a little bit too early in our judgment. We thought Sock had this game, but nuh-uh, not so fast.
Is this one of the most timely Death and Decay ever, by the way? Like, he really needed to push and do damage. He gets it, takes out the Expo in an instant. 51 supply on both sides. I'm dying a little bit inside. And yeah, I think the farms at the Expo, by the way, that's something like you need to build a wall, but then once you lose these, you end up getting supply blocked at this stage, which is terrible. And these 4 gyros are on a mission. Still Team 6 over there.
Yeah, and now Sock in serious trouble. Crazy hero levels on XLorD's side. The experience lead must be quite immense. Sock, though, getting some creeping in. If he levels up here to 3 on MK and Pally, how much is that going to improve his chances?
Dramatically, I think. Especially when there is no Banshees there, this is pretty much the dream where human heroes can start doing really good. Picked up a Crystal Ball, unfortunately for him. What's the best he could pick up? I always think against Undead, like a Greater Healing is really good here to get from one of those camps. I guess Big Invuln also can be useful. And he gets Scroll the Beast. I mean, there are destroyers, but not many of them. Actually, wait. All the destroyers are gone.
Oh, Pally in trouble, but he should have Divine Shield by now, holding on to it. I love the patience by Sock, not panicking. Pulls the Pally back, he's in a good position now, can still heal up over there. And the damage from the Griffins is immense. The Lich is getting targeted now. This perhaps the perfect call. Just keep throwing Stormbolts on the Lich, just so that he can't just attack all the time, that he has to run.
Even Novaing has been difficult here. Has forced to use the Invuln. And XLorD, now he has the expansion running again. Whereas Sock lost his, it almost feels like he shouldn't really be fighting, but he's doing fine in the fight regardless.
Now we got destroyers again, and where's the anti-air? That is minimal. It seems like how many gyros are there? We see none of them at the moment. MK looking for the target again. Stormbolt on the Lich. There's not too many coils left. This was the last coil. Wait a minute.
Oh my god, he can't chase. Pala gets level 3 finally. Flying Machines join the fight here. They need to get right on top of the destroyers, but
my god.
It's just a few of them.
They don't have flag cannons, by the way. No AoE damage, but not too many destroyers anyways.
And there's no Fiends.
What a sick tug of war, man. It's been a great game so far. Who's going to take it? I don't know. XLorD is re-expanding. So is Sock. It's all about mana here, I feel like. With low mana on the DK, XLorD can't really fight too well anymore.
The thing is, when XLord's main mines out, he's going to have some extra acolytes, then he can expo in bottom left. And then I think he will be in very good shape. Imagine if that DK gets 5, by the way. It's 4.7 right now, closing in on that level. But finally we got the Pala level 3. Huge power spike here for Sock. He needs to sell that Crystal Ball. Get some useful stuff instead of that. Bolt on the DK. I mean, from full HP, good luck with that. Probably not going to be happening.
Holy Light is strong, though. AM felt the pain. Stormbolt on cooldown. I mean, Coil on cooldown right now, but MK doesn't have a mana.
And Sok has X-Pro running at the bottom now. What a game! Non-stop action,
Dark
non-stop
Ranger!
fighting.
He's gonna fall with a timely bash. I think that's what led to her kill. The DK didn't quite have enough mana, and one destroyer going down as well. Big kills right here. But XLorD still in this game. Level 5 DK. Fiend transition coming in, and a supply lead for the German.
XLorD's got quite a bit of gold now since he has X-Pro running. I think he's just gonna rebuy in center. When you have statues, there's always huge incentive to do this, because you got already health points and mana regen. He's headed for the tavern. And it's a lot about the Mountain King's mana here. Oh, he brings the Acolytes for extra mana on the Lich.
It feels like Sok needs to get some clarity running. He's making a shop right now. He had one initially at the expansion. That one fell. Dark Ranger revived. Tavern res. Very expensive.
Yeah, Sok's made mined out, by the way. So both players right now mining from one single base. But the expansion of Sok is brand new, so he's got way more gold. 9k against 6k. And I think XLorD perhaps should expo in bottom left and then take things slow from there.
By the way, shout out to production, who said that, well, today should be a much shorter day. No reason to expect that these games would go so long. I wonder how that's going to end up working out. Oh, the Griffin almost getting caught. Wants to connect with the web, but doesn't quite get there. Sok.
No lasso this time.
Where's the flame break?
If you could get Dark Ranger 5, by the way, my god, that would be a sick level to get.
And these couple of skellies also help out. Also good at harassing, of course. MK close to level 4. Could be a decent level up. We saw one bash leading to a hero kill already, but it just seems like Sok doesn't quite have enough forces anymore.
They fought so much that both players lack upgrades. And it's actually XLorD, I think, doing better with the +2 attack, whereas Sok, he's just got 1-1-1. He never got +2 attack for anything. Death Knight far at the front, he's got the invuln to dodge a bolt. XLorD usually so good at dodging that bolt mid-air. Militia coming in this late in the game, threatening a level 6 hero. Perhaps if you could land a Stormbolt and surrounds with the effect of the orb. And the Death Knight is the one with the invuln, so the Lich doesn't have one.
The destroyers, though, completely uncontested. Nothing that can touch them anymore. DK, low HP, getting chased. He's running away, but he's got that invul potion to protect him. MK's got more Stormbolts, but so far only Sok has been losing units. 15 supply lead now for the German. The Fiends are chasing, the DK is running, and as long as he's got the finger on the trigger for the invul potion, XLorD might be winning this game here soon.
Yeah, I thought Sok might try and fake the Stormbolts to force the invuln and then later do it, but he ends up bolting the Lich. Archmage about to go down. He needs to get staffed. Okay, transfers the invuln. He needs to get holy lighted. Really bad. Actually, the Pala getting targeted. He has invuln. He staffs him instead, but the Archmage is left stranded in the center of the map, and XLorD might have done it here for game 1. GG gets called.
That was the critical kill. Guys, we almost cracked the 30 minutes already on the first map. What a game it was. A meeting of giants. I almost feel bad for Sok. What a beautiful, perfect early game he was able to play. And the mid game, the tank drop, we were a bit concerned perhaps that that was going to take some time to become effective, but how effective it was in the end. But the heroes for XLorD, they kept him in the game. He was playing 1 base versus 2 for so long. The Lich level 5 showing how insane he is once again.
Yeah, this was so action-packed. It's kind of hard to like debrief, you know, from this game. Like even if you suck, I'm sure you can pick out like a few mistakes here and there, but it's really hard to know exactly like everything that went down without maybe rewatching the replay and stuff. And I was sweating a little bit here for a moment because I thought he was doing really good, and I was like, you know, maybe later in the day this is gonna come out, but for now we're still looking fine. We're still looking safe. Yeah,
I wonder if Sok, like, how's he gonna take this psychologically? Is he gonna be frustrated with losing that game after having been ahead for quite some time and playing so well as well? As you point out, maybe some tiny mistakes, but for the most part, both just playing excellent. The one thing that I feel like could have perhaps been very beneficial is an earlier transition into Griffins. We saw them very late. Once he killed the Haunted, I feel like perhaps he could have set up that Aviary right away.
Yeah, I always feel weird when I see one single Aviary. I feel like Aviaries, you know, either you make 2 or 3 or you don't make them at all. So whenever he makes one like this and he starts prepping Griffins, I'm like, I can hardly see this doing much. It's very easy to misread a fight, and I think that's kind of what happened. There was a fight in the top right where he felt like he had to take it, and even though he was staffing a lot of units, he ended up losing all of his knights. Yeah. And once that happens, you're just in so much trouble. So Maybe he should have let his Expo get sieged a little harder and fought later, like delayed the fight a little bit more, but it's so hard because then once you lose the Expo, all the peasants there, you're always going to be in trouble regardless. He did a lot of good things this game, but XLorD just hung in there barely and well enough and never really lost his heroes very badly. Like, yes, he lost some heroes, but every time he made sure that he dealt maximum damage beforehand, and then he just instant revived anyway after that. It wasn't that costly.
I think there's still one big positive to take away here for Sok if he can stay positive in his mindset, and that is that this was the strongest strat that XLorD had up his sleeve. I think it has become apparent by now. Lich expansion into strong Lich late game, Lich level 5, even level 6 in this case. Super, super strong. Not playable on every map. This Lich Fast expansion is certainly doable on most maps, but we have Concealed Hill, still in the best of 5, where Lich expansion normally not playable. Last Refuge is playable, but if he counters it with mercs and stuff, there might be a way also to apply some pressure early. Titan is probably the best map for Lich Fast expansion, and that one now is out of the pool.
Don't you think this was a perfect death and decay, by the way?
Yeah.
Because like he really wanted to take out the Expo. I mean, maybe even without it, he would have killed the towers and then sieged the Expo, but not as fast. Death and decay is the best thing against buildings there to have for an undead. He just took out all of the towers, the Expo, and like the farms that were there at once, and then after that, it's so hard to recover, but Sok still put up a hell of a fight by re-expanding at the bottom. And that was a great game to start the series.
I really loved also how he was controlling those late game fights so well. Way too often do we see the Paladin just being on A-click and running to the front line. Sok was always really aware of how he had to pay attention to his healer. He was ready to throw in a couple of right clicks if he had the opportunity, but upon getting attacked or nuked right away, he would pull him back instantly.
Yeah.
That's so important. If you can stick around with the Pally, use all your mana for the Holy Light, this is going to make a big difference in the end. It took him a long time until he finally got level 3. Once he was there, the Holy Light is very strong, but by that point, I guess it was a little bit too late. Sok, it would be too easy to say, well, he should have crept more, and then it would have been higher level. Honestly, there was no window. Like, there was just constant battling going on.
That's
he was getting pressured all the time. He had to defend, which he did so beautifully, also with the militia, doing a great job. But yeah, XLorD edges it out. Barely, but what a first game that was. If this is a little taste of the day that is to come, we got some wonderful Warcraft here ahead of us.
And we want the full taste, Remo. Give it to me.
Well, I don't even know how to respond to that. I shall fulfill your every wish soon enough. And XLorD will fulfill the wishes of the German community as well if he manages to make it through here. He's been pretty humble in his statements so far. He said, well, against Happy it's going to be tough. That certainly was true. But also against some of the other top players from Europe and Korea, he doesn't see himself as the favorite. In the group stage already against Hitman and Foggy, he said that he would be the underdog, which then he proved to be false, as he did get those wins in the end. XLorD, you think he's just trying not to set up any high expectations with those statements, or does he really feel like he is the true underdog here?
Maybe a bit of both, and it's worked out well for him, so maybe he should just continue. And the winner of this match will face Lawlight in the semifinals. That should be a pretty difficult match for either player who were to advance here. And I think in that one, he would probably put himself as the underdog as well, considering the way Lawlight's been playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Lawlight and Happy still the big favorites here in this tournament. They've looked absolutely stellar. We'll see them, of course, later on today. In fact, the winner of this is going to go up against Lawlight in the third match of the day, with Foggy versus Stoen coming up after this one. Of course, we have a tiny bit of a break here for the players to reset. That was a long game, and not just a couple of minutes longer, but also very exhausting in its nature. But I think now we're ready for the second map. Let's go. And we see Northern Isles being the map where a fast expansion is certainly playable as well. Is there a notable difference to be pointed out here between this map and Tidehunters? Is this a better map or a worse map for one of the players for expanding?
I think it's not just about expanding. It's like the whole dynamic around expanding. What camp can you creep beforehand? How quickly can you expand? Is there accessible camps nearby that you can do after that? And that's XLorD who wrote that, I guess. Thank you, XLorD. Appreciate you. You're an ape as well. Yeah, I think on this map, Lich Expo is also pretty good. And Sok is going mount tanking first. That's something that he's been doing quite a bit. And XLorD knows about it. So I think he should be perhaps scouting for it eventually and starting to react. accordingly. That's one of the things that I'm very impressed with, like the mouse undeads, you know, like the 3 German players, One, NT, and XLorD, is that they figured out very early that scouting is the best way to, you know, go about playing this matchup, because they always scout with an acolyte no matter what, and they always see exactly your creep routes, your hero, and like what it is you're doing, and then they can start reacting from the start of the game. Some players skip that scout just because they want to have the acolyte ready to set up that expo as soon as possible, so they just focus on themselves only. Now, he knows it's mountain king, he can start game playing, there's chance for like gargoyles and stuff like that. By the way, Tidehunter's was Sock's pick. This is XLorD's pick here.
And very interesting, upon seeing the creep route there for XLorD, he knew that the Tuskar cat was going to be taken, and his reaction is to not expand right away, but to take the Tuskar himself. It looks like he's afraid of getting pressured by a level 2 human hero after he has crept that Tuskar camp, but that's not really the case.
Maybe he doesn't want to be level 2 against level 2, and he wants to be level 3 against level 3.
Doesn't that favor the Lich, though? Level 2.
Well, not as much as level 3, I think. Especially, like, I think he went for the consumable, right? I think he was hoping he would get Invuln or Greater Healing in case he gets targeted. Because Sock, it's not sure whether he goes Bolt Bash or Clap, but usually Bolt Bash is kind of the way when you play Mountain King first, which right now is keeping both options open.
He is going Bash here. A couple more right clicks may lead to some kills once more. MK can be strong with strong spells specifically, but very mana thirsty. I would say the big Invul Potion, pretty weak, honestly. Big healing would have been great, big mana would have been great. I think even the water would have been good. This scroll the Invul Pot, not the best. I guess perhaps at least not scroll the beast.
Yeah, the item's very important. Sock has some good survivability with the ring and Invuln, but yeah, not having any mana item. He gets more survivability. Okay, this Mountain King is just going to be a ninja. But yeah, on the other side, greater mana. Guess he got the Crystal Ball.
Sock did a good job creeping, though. Didn't take too much damage. MK normally always the best on maps with easy Merc camps. That Shadow Priest for healing is very helpful. No Merc camp here, though. No Mercenaries, no Shadow Priest, no heal. But the MK still crept up the natural, is ready to go expand there now. He is level 3, getting to the middle, and Boots could be very helpful.
He's so able to kind of read that there's ghouls headed for his expo, because those ghouls are there by design. In case Sock were to move down and pressure, the ghouls are going to show up at the expo and start slaying peasants. If there is no units in position, if there is no Water Elemental and Archmage, which usually would be there to help defend against this might be a complete disaster. He cancels the expo. Oh my god, he's going to commit to the XLorD might just need to cancel here, I think, as well.
All right, this game might get weird right now, because this Haunted is certainly cancelled. The Ziggurat and the Necropolis, not so sure. In the meantime, XLorD making quick adjustments, starting the tier 2 tech as well, willing to give up the expansion. And in the end, we might be stuck on one base, with a beautiful ghoul surround there as well in the midst of this, by the way. Gets one ghoul kill, but the Lich is looking to party, just like we are going to be tonight. And there's the first Nova of the game, and this one leads to big damage right away. And the big problem for Sock is he is not teching already.
The peasants in the main. Look at the peasants in the main.
Oh,
oh there's a tower. All right. Whew, I'm getting scared here, Remo. Hold me. Because these peasants may be about to suffer great losses.
Oh, that Nova only hit one peasant. That was kind of a big mistake, honestly. He could have hit way more, but he was a little bit afraid of the Arcane Tower getting burnt more. In the meantime, Sock also attacking across the map, but how much can he really do? He could have got some acolytes, and he cancelled the tech. We're stuck on tier 1 at the moment on both sides. This game is devolving into some real weirdness.
A clown fiesta of sorts here. Remember that XLorD had greater mana, by the way, so now you already used that. It's just, there are only corpses on both sides of the map, just filling the main base.
More bashes, more kills. He's about to get level 4 here, isn't he? Yes, he is. The bash now is super strong. He's got the Telly Staff to get back if he needs. There's even an Arcane at the expansion.
What the hell?
If the Lich ever has to leave and go back home, I think Sock can just expand
he's
again.
stuffing. Okay,
Yes.
the Mountain King can actually chase the Lich. Okay, he needs to get Boots.
To the peasant! To the peasant that was off to the side!
Oh yes, Boots. He needs to get Staff and like just get out of the way of this Mountain King. Just keep running away. Never let him catch up to you, because Bash level 2 and Bolt level 2, you know, that's a pretty good combo to chase down heroes and kill them. Oh my god, he's blocking him. Lich! He's getting caught!
Oh, the block from the footing.
How many bashes?
He's got more mana! He's got more mana, Todd!
He needs to
He's
counter
locked and
around the
loaded,
Mountain
the
King.
hammer's ready, but the ghouls are coming in for the block as well. Oh my god. How amazing are these two playing? The series of the tournament, certainly already.
There's the Invuln. He needs to keep him blocked. Otherwise the Mountain King will catch up to the Lich. That would be a disaster. Ghoul about to fall. I think he can kill that and maybe start chasing the Lich again. XLorD gets out of the way. Run. Just run.
What is this game? MK can get some free kills on the Acolytes if he wants. The big prize, of course, is the Lich. And dude, the Bash. Leveling up from 1 to 2, I mean, the Bash increases the chance. Now he has 30% chance for Bash.
Oh my god, the Lich came back.
Lich has to run. He's got to run.
Get out of dodge.
And
cross the border.
And starts expanding again. And with so much attention being on XLorD's side of the map, there's no way XLorD can stop this. But maybe he can expand himself again, however, at the moment, a bit too broke for that.
Mountain King going around, Lich getting hunted. How often has that happened? The human hunting the undead.
This Lich is on the terminal list, Todd, and this is MK. he's a covert operator.
Chris Pratt put his gear on and he's going for it. Send him alone like the Mountain King. He can handle them all.
But the MK now also...
Oh my god!
Oh my god, the staff!
Woo! He had to town portal, even though he tried to use staff initially. What is this game? 22 hit points, and it's so hard to heal from there, even though he has... oh, actually, he lost the shop.
He lost the shop, yeah. He tried to make it between the two bases, but that one was cancelled. Oh, no, he made a new one. I just heard a clarity starting. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, he's slowly healing up now, but it's going to take a long time. This MK, with only regen scrolls, he is going to be low HP here for a while. Whew. Finally, we take our foot off the gas a little bit. It has been very hectic so far. And after a crazy intermission, we indeed will be fast expanding on both sides.
What is this game? Is he going for the lab? Hey, he wants Trader as well. Even though, I guess he has so much lumber. Might as well, right? Use the extra peasants. Grab the Shredder as well. Probably needs to start tech very soon here.
He never wanted a Ring of Regen this badly in his life. What's it going to be, Todd?
Claws +9.
Ring of Regen. Come on, one time. Oh, there it is.
Aye.
And the Zeppelin follow-up as well.
There's only one prophet, and his name ain't Neo.
Take that, Neo. Good scout, though, by XLorD. He saw this one coming. He can prepare now for the drop. If he hadn't seen this, he would have certainly gotten his Haunted cancelled. It feels like XLorD has to save this expansion attempt.
Does he just target the gold mine? Yeah. Oh my god, no way. It cannot be repaired while it's building. Acolytes probably should be fighting as well. You can take all the health.
Oh,
he
the
would
Shredder
get.
DPS! The
Oh
Shredder
my
DPS,
God.
Todd, are you kidding me?
What a 6-9. Only Sock could pull this off. Okay, maybe Thunder as well, because he loves Zeppelins and Shredders.
Shout out to Carson, by the way. His favorite player in the world is Sock, more or less, and he must be having the time of his life right now. And so is Sock, perhaps. What a way also to come back after that devastating loss on the first map where he played so well. Guess what? The action doesn't subside. The ghouls are attacking in the north as well, and Sock now has to worry about this fire also.
Yeah, Carson is on the replay analysis duty, by the way, for this series. Good luck with that, mate. What moment do you pick?
That's going to be a 25-minute segment. Guys, I prepared 50 clips for us.
And it's still going to be 10 times shorter than your balance suggestions with your figures.
Well, I wonder if any opinions are going to be changed after today. Sock has been playing out of his mind. This Ring of Regen, by the way.
Oh my god. Oh. Why is he playing with fire? His Zeppelin is literally on fire. Get out of there. Oh my god.
Sock, what?
No. He could have stayed in the Zeppelin and flown away, even though Lich has boots. I think he could make it above the trees. Like.
Sock is Giga Rich, though. He's Warren Buffett level rich over here. He can
He's
go for a Tavern Res.
Right? No.
Wait, what? I mean, he can just cancel.
Well, he doesn't want to. I think if you start it out of the
Shredder, though, he's going to lose the Shredder as well, and that's some big losses. That's Lich level 5, I think. Oh my god.
Not like this.
Oh, no.
Well,
dude,
I think I'm going to put the Jester costume away already, because it's not looking too hot now.
Oh, losing that Shredder, that hurts so much.
But the tech starts so late, though, for XLorD. It only starts now and keeps about to finish.
Yeah, true. What's the second hero you want to go for here? Is it the Blood Mage, or is that guy too squish?
I think Blood Mage, yeah. If you wanted to play Master, like I said, there would be a DK. Some players who are playing Paladin second and then into Master. But against Lich, I think that's just a bad idea. Then again, his tech is so far ahead, he might choose to do some specific stuff. I mean, we saw the tanks earlier. Like, I never thought I'd see the day. Losing the Shredder is so bad, by the way. Like,
yeah.
He's lumber starved. And it takes so long as well to get a new one in the laboratory. Yeah,
it's on a long cooldown. It might be even worth to go to XLorD lab and get the Shredder there, maybe. But first,
Yeah,
you
with
have
what,
to
the 2
creep
footman
in.
that he has in his app?
Listen, just bash every hit, no problem.
Backpack on the way for XLorD. He wants to keep ferrying over some Rhodos
He does
Necromancer.
have a new shredder.
Oh, he does.
He sent the Zep over there. And
Oh, what a guy.
it there.
The
Don't-
exfil was
don't-
successful.
Don't lose it again, though, please. That would be painful.
What the hell is this harass?
They are not smiling at the moment. We saw them both in good spirits at the beginning of the game, willing to chat and giggle. But now it's serious mode enabled.
We're 13 minutes into this game, and the only upgrade XLorD has is backpack, and the only one that Sock has is improved lumber harvesting. What the hell happens?
And he's gonna get level 5 here. Both heroes super strong on level 5, but only one of them has infinite mana. Well, honestly, there's Blood Mage on the other side, so you could make an argument. This is crazy. This is something special indeed. Very fitting, befitting of this tournament.
That's been a great series so far already. We're only into game 2 as well. 4.8 on the Mountain King picked up a Lightning Shields. Come on, XLorD, like you keep dropping and picking up to harass, to one-hit a Shredder that's totally useless, and then you can't pick up when the bolt is midair. I expect more from you.
Went for a heal scroll here as well.
Black Citadel now starts, but Castle halfway through done. And I saw 2 workshops being made, so I'm thinking he's going to at least mix in 2 tanks like he did earlier. Was he afraid of air, maybe? It's a common thing to go Gargoyles against a Mountain King first, so he's getting 2 flying machines to make sure he's covered. Obviously, we see the whole map, and production tab Sock maybe is not sure how quick that Black Citadel is and what XLorD's doing. Oh, he wants to get the Zep with the flying machines. Oh my god, if he catches, I mean, there is Invuln and TP, but there is some potential for a mistake out of XLorD, just like there was earlier from Sock, who lost his hero.
Yeah, the Zep will certainly fall.
Get Invis Potion on the Mountain King, maybe, and then get down there, and then boom!
Hell yeah, go for the big plays. They
Forces
have to pull that TP. Ghouls unload.
Creature Carapace on the way.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's the... Is that the second armor upgrade, maybe? No, that's the first one. Never mind. I was worried there for a second that Sock is not going to go double racks, but he is going to go double racks in the end. The Knights already were a big benefiting or contributing factor in the first map. And
Good,
now,
thanks.
as he's going to get level 5 MK, this hero kill potential is going to be very scary indeed.
He's still not 5. Oh, he wants the Ghoul. He's going to start 2 tanks, I think, because he made Black Gunpowder. And when you go tanks, you definitely need to have that +1. Ideally, you want that +2. That's when really like they start hurting a whole lot more. Blood Mage gets out of there for now. You probably want to buy a staff ASAP here if you're Sock. I think he's headed for the shop that he's got down there. And we see tanks, knights, and a paladin in production.
Hell yeah.
Is XLorD going to be ready around the expansion? Because that's where you want to drop those tanks with the Zep.
Absolutely amazing game so far between the two. And this could still be a long one yet to come. We have an amazing amount of creeps also still left on the map because we've just been battling non-stop. Third heroes could benefit from that, from a bit more creeping, and they are joining now soon. Pally about to come out, and that Holy Light is going to be a huge help. And some help is needed here to finally force this Lich away.
How many peasants do you think that this game? I think 25.
I think you're right, Todd. Hero damage dealt. What do we have? 10,000 so far on the Lich, with a lot more yet to come. Doesn't even have the orb yet. Doesn't even have crazy items yet. Third hero for XLorD should again be the Dark Ranger. But this tri-hero combo for the human, say he gets 2 more level ups, or 2 more level ups each on Blood Mage and Pally, it's going to be extremely strong.
Wait, are we going to see Death and Decay again, really? Because like that Lich is 5.6 already.
Stormbolt are doing good damage.
Found portals out of there. Okay, there is a big opportunity to level the second and third hero here for Sock. If he starts heading to the top left maybe and does that, but I think he wants to maybe contest the center. I mean, he sees Deathcoil level 1 only, and he's like, okay, well, I got Bolt 3, so I can actually kill a lot of these fiends here. And no sign of any temple for XLorD, so it's not like he wants to go into any sort of banshees. There we go, the tank's being dropped. XLorD quick with the reaction. He's gonna staff, I think, buy orb and take out those tanks pretty quickly.
MK though also ready to put in some damage. The DK level 1 very squishy still, but he's got the Invo Potion. Wise to buy that one ahead of time. Blood Mage getting staffed out. No Holy Light, surprisingly. No silence yet, I believe. And good Dark Ritual as well. The Fiend kill is not going on to the coffers of the MK, still only barely level 5. Pally though,
the Expo,
forced away. Expansion
He's using the Expo. Oh
has
my
gone down.
God.
The tanks do it again, and the MK and the Knights hunting for more Fiend kills at the same time.
Hey, he's gonna save the towers. I think this game, yeah, he needs to restart the Expo immediately.
And like right now, Griffin Aviary. Wouldn't that be a good timing? I wonder.
Well, against Lich, it's going Griffins at all feels very difficult. He actually drops one. Okay.
My man.
You don't want to overcommit on Knights, that's the thing, right? If you go past, 5, 6 Knights and then the opponent at any point goes into Banshees, then you're exposing yourself to getting all your army stolen or part of it and then being very far behind.
Cool thing is, of course, the upgrades carry over between Knights and Griffins. The sword upgrades, if you will. And we got one of that already, possibly more to come. Sek wants to keep fighting.
The cross swords.
Are you trying to tell me something, Todd?
Yeah, that they share upgrades.
They sure do.
They share everything.
Blood Mage is using the Siphon mana here over and over, and this way, Sok may win the mana war in the end. We have one of the win, we have Invul Potions, everything is under threat as well at the moment. This Blood Mage is very squishy and may be forced here to be staffed over. But the Lich, if it goes down, this game might be over, and it doesn't all! Level 2 on the Blood Mage, now we got Banish as well. And Sok taking the huge lead in this game. Stormbolt flies, it's just too much damage. The hammer to lead to victory. That's the next hero kill, and XLorD almost certainly seems to be out of this game.
Yeah, last game he fought non-stop and managed to do well with that, but this game Sok was like, all right, this time maybe you're fighting a little more than you should have. He knows that XLorD will want to rebuy as well, so he blocks his way from the center. It's the Dark Ranger being remade in the altar now. I think XLorD really wanted to rebuy the Lich in the center, but this one Mountain King is chasing him. He's not allowing this.
What a display by Sok. He's having to work hard for these points. But this game now certainly in his hand.
Black cannons. Make destroyers, how dare you. Because he sees multiple statues as well.
Yeah, Sok's DPS is going to be off the charts. Second attack upgrade as well coming in for the Griffins, who are going to be joining here momentarily. XLorD trying to tab and res. But he's out behind enemy lines now. He is in no man's land. He's between the trenches, and their hammers could fall again. Sok is enjoying this game now. He always has such a incredible threat with his MK first.
This is wild, actually. Like the fact that the game that he might win is with Mountain King first on Northern Isle. XLorD's map pick is so impressive. And +2 attack. On the way, he saw 3 statues. That's always when you start thinking, okay, there might be quite a few destroyers, so he's getting a lot of flying machines to make sure he's got that covered.
Now the MK, or rather the Paladin, also reached level 3. The level 2 Holy Light is going to be a huge help. XLorD is now trying to slowly find an answer to this nuke and insane DPS. It's the Temple of the Damned. He's trying to go Banshees, but does he have the time? It doesn't really look like it. The Nova level 3 is still insane, but this MK, he's got a few spells of his own to use.
Yeah, Griffin shows up. It's going to be amazing against the statues here. And XLorD is getting chased everywhere around the map. He has a Town Portal to get out if he really needs to, but ideally you don't want to have to use that. He has an Holy Aura, but it's only an Holy Aura level 1 here. He's trying to run away and keep Novaing this army to lower the hit points before he were to take an engagement maybe at some points. Yeah. And ends up tipping out.
And genius choice also by Sok. He knows he might just be getting the runaround here by XLorD, so he's making tanks. So even if he's forced to chase around the undead army, he's going to have another threat for XLorD to deal with very soon. And those tanks probably going to hit the expansion once more. Another attack upgrade on them also could be potent. And whoa! No Banshee. We see a Necromancer for XLorD. All right then.
Unholy Frenzy is one hell of a drug.
Oh, and Sok is on his heels once again.
He's getting an Acolyte right now? Does he want to expand again? No. Did he lose one? Flying Machine Bombs on the way. Storm Hammers as well. Getting all of the upgrades. And Town Portal being forced. Yeah, this attack, every time there is an attack like this with 2 tanks, you're basically saying, okay, I want to fight your army with my army while my 2 tanks are just wrecking your buildings everywhere.
And XLorD's force just doesn't seem to be able to compete at the moment. Only a small army indeed. And ghouls and statues for the most part. The Griffins against that are going to be terrific. While Sok has 80 supply. When was the last time he really lost something? I don't know. He re-traded as well into Clap. Now the level 3 Clap, super potent against these ground forces. MK looking for more. XLorD is trying to disengage. One of the Wind trying to get back. But like you pointed out, those tanks still causing trouble.
The one Necro, what the hell? He's getting more Necromancers as well. I guess they do extra damage to Knights, but yeah, if you only get 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, there's no way.
I know XLorD loves Unholy Frenzy on his Lich with Orb, but looks like in this game, maybe he just needed more units.
XLorD at this point hoping for a mistake by Sok. There's no way he can win this game if Sok plays perfectly. But with these super strong hero levels, Sok is looking to be in charge. And what a terrific performance it truly was by the Korean. What a display so far today. He almost didn't make it out of the group. Starbuck almost overtook him in the group stage. I was getting worried for Sok. I was wondering, is this really the strongest Sok we've ever seen? Not so sure, but man, does he prove me wrong today with more or less a perfect game here on the second map. Blood Mage in trouble, but there should be Holy Light.
And that's the 4v4 training showing here, by the way, because sometimes you play with absolute apes, but then you have to still be able to re-queue and play the next game with a fresh mindset. So he's been getting a lot of training with that. And he moved on from that game 1 beautifully. Showed up prepared for game 2, and despite a weird mount tanking loss at some point, recovered really well and played a beautiful game here on Northern Isle. Necromancer Adept training, really. We're gonna go there, XLorD.
I suppose we are. If he ever gets to cripple, that can be strong, but XLorD's economy is just shot to all hell. And now we also got the next answer coming with more teams and frag shards supposed to take out those Necros from range against level 3 Nova. They also can look quite vulnerable. But anyways, XLorD, he's down by like 30 supply, but he doesn't care. He's looking for a bit of action.
The thing about this map is that the main and Expo, they man out at about the same time. So he knows that Sok doesn't have that much gold to work with anymore. And because he keeps using his Expo, XLorD has a lot of gold still there. So as long as he's able to retake it eventually, he just has to survive. But he engaged again, and that's going to be it. For game 2, we get the equalizer. Oh my god. Just realized what it means.
We're tied up now. 1-1. The best of 5, if you will, turns into a best of 3. And this is going to be a long series here, folks. Absolutely amazing play. Both players playing this really well. XLorD, he said before that he's definitely expecting some MK first, but there the MK, despite being expected, working out well. And it was, I think, very good panic management. Game got very weird. Both expansions getting cancelled, but then the MK across the map finding so many kills. There XLorD perhaps should have reacted a bit faster with pulling the Acolytes better, maybe more towers, although it's hard to say what to do exactly. What has certainly become more than clear is the fact that Sok here is looking tremendous. The best human in the world, after all, they call him. And his matchup against Undead looking terrific so far. I wonder, how many more times can he pull off that MK? Because he's not really supposed to be playable on every map.
Yeah, it's only on certain maps, but then again, it's Sok. Like, if anybody can do it, it's him. We need to get him like white lab codes, because he's definitely been the master of that lab, using like, how many Zeppelins was that? A whole bunch. He gets the Shredder, then loses it, gets another Shredder, uses Zeppelin to save his hero, lost it kind of sloppily, but then saved a whole bunch of stuff, and then he drops those tanks whenever as well to kill the gold mine. And he's making that 2 tanks thing look really strong. Like, one of the best things that you can do is to build a bunch of army, 2 tanks. You go for a timing, and then it's so hard for XLorD. Like, what does he target? If he targets the tank, then there is Knights chopping up his fiends at the back. So very tricky to react to this very well.
Yeah, I wonder if he perhaps had a few more ghouls. He was always transitioning pretty quickly into destroyers, sometimes fiends. Maybe if he keeps like 5 ghouls at all times at the expansion, if you have frenzy ghouls there right away, and you're ready to repair, that can be quite helpful as well. Against only 2 tanks at a time, or maybe 3, you don't really need wagons. That will be an overreaction.
There was a huge tech difference. That's the thing too.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he lost his hero, but the tech, he was like quite a bit ahead, like 1 whole tech almost.
Absolutely. And normally it tends to be the other way around. But I like the adjustment. The MK first seems to really work out well against this Lich first. I haven't seen it much yet, but we've also seen like Pally first being surprisingly good on some maps, like with Merc camps and stuff. But the MK first here, I like it quite a bit. I feel like there is a weakness that could be exploited, and that's DK Ghoul build. MK normally tends to do quite poorly against that because the DK creeps level 2 super fast with the ghouls, and then he runs across the map with plenty of ghouls, skellies, ready to throw coils, and the aura. The aura perhaps the most important thing. Where ghouls start attacking 6 peasants at the same time. The human is trying to micro away, but is having such a tough time with that because the ghouls simply are faster. And the MK, once he runs out of mana, he has a tough time dealing with those mass ghouls and skellies. He doesn't have the water elementals, of course, to rely on.
I think Sock is incredible against Death Knight, though, in general. So it would be, especially imagine you get it right. You go Death Knight and then he goes Archmage. He's going to know exactly how to play. It's something that a lot of undeads don't practice, including XLorD. So yeah, let's not wait any longer. Let's go into map number 3 and find out which heroes it's going to be.
Concealed Hill will oftentimes force a standard game with how hard the expansion is and also creep camps in general. But look at that! Once again, the King Under the Mountain is selected, but XLorD going with the DK first and a Ghoul build. This can be the hard counter, supposed to be the hard counter against MK fast expansion, oftentimes even with very heavy harass, lots of ghouls, sometimes even with Gargs to bust through the towers and stuff.
Yeah.
But that is a long ways down the road. This expansion, very hard to take for the human or for anybody, even with AM and water elementals. With MK first, it seems almost impossible on paper to pull this off. How is he going to be able to do this, Todd?
With a lot of militia, if he wants to actually go for it. XLorD is not going DK here, by the way, because he thinks he's going to be necessarily mount tanking. He would do that against Archmage as well. And the point on this map is that this is the map where the expansion is the hardest to take. So you go for Death Knight ghouls, you creep a little bit as you mentioned, and then you go for a timing where you're attacking the human either while he's creeping the expansion or right after. And then you kill a lot of workers, you put him behind, and then it's really up to you to choose what units you go into. If you play Death Knight against mount tanking, Gargoyles can be really good actually, especially on this map. And we've seen XLorD going for that even against Night Elf, against the Fairy Dragons, in particular on this map. So that might be something that manifests here. But yeah, Sock, you mentioned like how is he going to take the expo? He could just creep level 2, wait for Nightfall, and then sends a ton of militia to the expansion if he wants to force that being taken. Or he could just not expand at all, but that's a lot of the time kind of out of question.
Yeah, I feel like when you play Archmage maybe, you can try to play one base and skip the expansion. Some humans sometimes try to do that and try to go for some tier 3 in a rifle maybe. But without AM, without aura, without elementals, how are you ever going to go out on the map, start creeping, be efficient? So hard to do with MK, really. It does feel like you got to expand.
Oh, he went clap.
Clap this time.
Maybe he wants to be attacked by ghouls.
Yeah, the AoE clap can be very effective against the ghouls. It's going to be up to XLorD to spread the ghouls to minimize the effect of that.
Whoa, went a little early to the merchants. It picks up an extra circlet here. XLorD in position. He wants to get on top of those units here at the expo as soon as Sock starts the camp.
That's so many ghouls. That's so many ghouls and skellies.
How many militia, Remo?
There's coming more from the main. 8.
Pulling the boys.
8. How many?
No.
Oh, that's more.
8? That's rookie numbers.
That's like 11.
Yeah, that's all the militia.
All right, does this work out? Let's see. MK needs to be the protector for these militia, needs to land those perfect claps. But he's kind of off to the side at the moment. Have the militia take on the ghouls, have the militia against the creep camp. Oh, the first clap is beautiful, though.
Oh, ghouls
surrounding the MK. Is that the right call?
He has a ring and gauntlets.
And
oh my god, he gets 3.
XLorD, huge mistake. This must have been a huge mistake. Going for the MK, the hardest target, who has an AoE clap ability. Oh, XLorD, this was not the right call, my man.
Trying to get the steal on the big one.
He's baiting the DK with the greed of trying to get the last hit.
Oh my god,
to surround him here as well.
Okay, XLorD gets the steal at least. That was really like the salvage he needed. But Klaus +9, this mount tanking is going to pick up boots and start hunting everything around the map. We got Hall of the Dead on the way. I didn't see a second crypt, so no indicator that he might go Gargs just yet. Here's the graveyards.
Yeah.
Usually I think you would start the crypt when tech is halfway through done, if you want to get it. So very soon if you wanted to go Gargs.
And this looks like a great game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like
is he
what?
waking it up? He thought maybe something would be sent there soon.
Or he thought maybe a footy was healing behind the fountain or something. I don't know. But one catastrophic mistake by XLorD. Trying to take out that MK.
Second creep.
Completely the wrong call. Speaking of call, you mentioned the Gargs. Here we are. We're going to see him, apparently. Also, by the way, XLorD went south right away with the ghouls, went to the green camp to creep that. Why didn't he take the orange camp first? he should always easily have time to take out the orange, then the green, be level 2, pick up that item on the way, and then harass. With more experience, with an instant level 2 already. I think the creep route was the first mistake by XLorD, but the big one was trying to take on that MK.
But sometimes some players, they scout, and then if you do the orange, they do their own orange, and then they immediately rush the expo, and then you get there too late. So I think the whole point is that he was really scared not to be there when Sok would be doing the expansion. So he showed up very early, maybe too early in this game, and then this clap pick was just beautiful by Sok, because it defended perfectly for his peasants to do all the damage against the creeps. And in this case, he didn't even care about losing the big null overseer. Usually you mind a lot if that one gets stolen, but not here.
And the footy also saw the double crypt, so Sok knows what's coming. He's going for the lumber mill right now. May need a power build on that, perhaps, because yeah, towers will be necessary, of course, against the Gargs.
Yeah, 2 Gargs now begin production. He actually goes in.
He's got the tele staff, though.
Yeah, but if he blocks the wall and then just targets everything, he can make sure he just bolts when the staff is being used. He might be able to force TP, but he needs to block that over there. DK is trying to run far away so that he can staff out, but Sok blocks him. And there is the bolt on time. He's going to force Town Portal. Oh my God, I can't believe XLorD stepped in there.
Yeah, he got some value out of that push, though. Lots of militia time. The MK was busy, also peasants taken out, and no towers were being made in the main base while we got guards coming.
I think it was to distract him, yeah. And now the ghouls in the expo. Sok knows this is coming, so he's going blacksmith for rifles. So he's going to be pumping out rifles out of 1 barracks to try and stay alive so that he can tower up. I've had this type of game against XLorD though, and like behind this, you know, usually he'll get like 50 supply and then hit like a really good timing on you, unless you have enough units. And it's very hard to tower up against this. He's actually going to take out the tower. Oh my God.
Doesn't have the clap yet. 90 mana is how much he needs. Sok doesn't have much here to defend. Wait a minute. This is looking scary all of a sudden.
Yeah. And now there's no anti-air. His only anti-air is going to be 1 rifle, but then XLorD can put the ghouls, the Death Knights, the Skellies, and the Gargs on that rifle and getting out of there.
What a magnificent comeback here by XLorD. The early game was such a whiff, but then the follow-up harass with the ghouls in the main base at the expansion. Very nicely done. Sok there perhaps a tiny bit too slow with the multitasking. Now he's reaping the rewards, or rather suffering the consequences. And the expansion is not mining at all at the moment. Sok in the tough spot. What does he do now?
He's going back into footman. Okay, no, he goes back into rifle. He's gonna lose infinity walkers here. Okay, that DK probably shouldn't go in there anymore.
Oh, the tower isn't done yet. Oh, okay, now it is.
If you could get like up to 3 rifles and then tower up the expo, but the problem is that this is so costly in lumber. Like you see, okay, you might think, what are those ghouls doing in the main? They're not achieving anything. Well, they're achieving Sok not mining lumber. Sok hasn't teched. XLorD has been tier 2 for a very long time. Now he's getting a slaughterhouse. He could start tier 3. His tech difference is going to be like night and day this game. And that plays a big role because then eventually he can add Lich with Orb. He can go into anything he wants with tier 3. He's going back into ghouls.
Yeah, there's rifles coming. That seems to make sense. Speaking of rifles, it's the one mistake here by Sok, perhaps not having enough of them. But of course also he's pretty strapped for cash. He could start 1 more rifle now. Feels like he should. Is that tower about to upgrade here? Yes, it is. Oh, this guard tower makes a big difference now.
Yeah. I think XLorD needs to disengage. He can creep the fountains. And because I saw him go back into ghouls, I wonder if he might just go into maybe a frenzy timing of sorts. But he's not taking to Black Citadel right now.
That's the big strength of Garge on this map, being able to take out that fountain so easily. It's going to be a fast level 4 DK over here. He went Aura, by the way. Didn't even have level 2 Coil until now. Well, it still doesn't, but
he was just,
we'll have it soon.
he was so short on mana, he didn't think that would matter, which is might be correct, I think. Like, I don't mind it. But more Gargs being produced now. Who gave you permission to creep Sok? Certainly not the Lords.
And
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh.
And the Lord worketh in mysterious ways. And it is the day of the Lord after all. Shout out to all my church homies. All right, tier 2.
Did you confess to all your sins this morning?
I confessed to you last night. Did you forget, Todd? This hurts me.
I'm no priest. But if I was, I would have a specific spell called Dispo.
All right, DK picks up the next big item. He found double auras. That's very good. More armor, more damage. Yes, please. But XLorD's missing the second hero. No Lich yet. Starts the tier 3 here. This game, far from the norm. Oftentimes in a game like this, it can be hard to tell what the right transition is. XLorD has to, I think, also kind of improvise on the fly. I doubt he's had too many games like these recently.
Ooh, XLorD saw it. Air units see very far, so he's going to step in there and prevent that. Okay, well, actually, Sock's going to fail the pull. Then there won't be much to worry about. Pretty ambitious, actually, to go for this with just these few units. But he does have a very scary Mount Tanking level 4 here.
Oh, Gargs in the main. Can certainly cancel that one tower. Oh my god, it's about to upgrade. Oh, never mind. Takes it out, but not too many Gargs. They can't just bust through the towers too easily just yet. And this is quite annoying. This was the meta in days past against Night Elf.
Yeah.
The Whisper Ass with the guards, and XLorD was excellent at that.
The good old days. Hazu ups with 4 islands on Twisted Meadows.
Oh my god, dude. Don't remind me.
Just spooning those Night Elves to death until they have 0 wisps.
Remember the WNV clan war days? Every clan war would last 7 hours. Tunnel me, bro.
I think he kind of want boots here on the Mount Tanking, by the way, to really start chasing stuff a lot better. And we see a Pala second, not a Blood Mage here.
Oh, changed his mind.
Okay, yeah, I was like, what? Oh no, wait, cancels again.
What?
He keeps canceling. It was Pala, then it was Blood Mage, and now it's Pala again.
Well, he seems to have made up his mind now. Really feels like he's going to need that Holy Light. And one more tower going to get cancelled, but the double guard tower should suffice here now. Lumber for Sock is not looking grand. If it was, I'd say Masonry might be worth it. But no, he's going for the second racks at the moment. And XLorD always finds these little holes in the defense. He's always able to find a little bit of damage here or there.
I think if he was against a lot of ghouls, then he probably would want to go Blood Mage to make sure he can clap non-stop. But now because he's against air, I think he wants to make sure he can keep stuff alive, in particular his main hero. And it's going to be for not his spells, but his units to deal with those gargoyles. And in this case, Jaros, since you have access to flak cannons on tier 2 now, he's not even taking to castle right now.
Isn't Sock getting over-prepared against air? With mass rifles, you would feel that perhaps he has enough against destroyers already.
Yeah, the thing is, like, those gargoyles, they're super annoying, and also they're going to give you a good amount of XP when you finally get rid of them. So it's better to over-prepare than to under-prepare. Obviously, you don't want to make, like, 30 Jaros, because that would be massive overkill. But as long as he gets rid of them there eventually, his levels are going to skyrocket, and then he's going to take the control of the air. He's going to be in pretty good shape. I do think he needs to take to castle eventually, but he has no lumber. And that's because those Gargs have done such a good job.
Shredder, bro. You've never seen a better Shredder in your life. This would be the perfect moment for it. It would force him into upkeep, but that's fine. He's got so much gold. I don't think upkeep should worry him.
Just go. Go for it. He's pumping rifles plus Jaro, so he's really worried about an upcoming attack, which actually might be coming. And this is what I was talking about. You had Lich later on here. Great auras for XLorD. My god, by the way, like Devotion plus Flutes.
Frenzy Ghouls and Dark Ranger could be so scary. And we got the Frenzy Ghouls already. The Dark Ranger should join soon. And I think this is it for XLorD. He has to break this expansion, but great scout. Sock sees it coming early with the gyros and can get into position quick.
And when the ghouls come in, the guard towers are usually targeting them, so then they won't be killing the Gargs. He buys a bit of time here. Nicely done. Maybe he needs to run away. I don't know if he wants to be fighting in the open here. You really want to be fighting when those towers are shooting. Gyros kiting. Gargs move back.
The flag is looking great. Lots of AoE, flag cannons from the gyros against the air, and of course the clap on the ground against the ghouls. There was one heal throw for XLorD, but I think it's not enough. I think he needed more. And Sock is winning this fight. Look at XLord's supply dropping. It's dropping below 40 right now, level 5 on the MK. And Sock may have just done this.
Yeah, the Gargs all falling, give so much experience. Mount Tanking 5.1, Paladin almost level 3 here. He's getting targeted. He went Devotion. So he doesn't have Divine Shield. He does have a big invuln. Don't want to delay that too much. Maybe he's trying to be a little bit greedy by dodging a coil mid-air, but he forces the coil on the Lich that's surrounded. This time there is Frost Armor. No Town Portal for XLorD. He gets Death Knight level 5.
The gyros at the moment, not really a help in any way, but at least they dealt with the gargoyle threat. MK falling back, or Pally rather, into the main. Where tier 3 has been started, Sock is looking very confident. Finally starting to spend his big bank, makes it to the shop, more mana there. And XLorD now down in the dumps. This was his big push. This was his timing opportunity to break the expansion. Now comes the Dark Ranger, perhaps too late. If he had been able to snowball with 1 kill after the next and raise those skellies, might have been a different story. But again, what a great game by Sock. What a great series by Sock here, on the verge of taking the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and that would be with 2 games using Mount tanking first, those 2 wins. That's insane. Oh my god, the auras for XLorD.
Triple aura.
That maybe gives him a chance to really come back in this year with all of this. He just needs to get to 50 supply, stay there for a little bit.
Ooh, the clap, bro. Ooh, baby.
What units should he go for? That's the question, because if he goes for A-bombs, then there could be Griffins added. He's making some fiends. This Mount tanking is a menace. Clap level 3, interestingly, even though there's not that many units.
Yeah, it's Ghoul Flood earlier. It was quite good. Pally has level 3 finally, but not much mana left. Sock may have to disengage here. The power of the Undead Heroes plus statues is starting to really shine through here.
Yeah, Lich being almost level 3 is pretty nice as well for XLords. There's still a lot of creeps left on the map, by the way, and he already has a DK5, so if he just goes into creeping mode here and levels up his other heroes, he's gonna have a super strong tri-hero. But yeah, Castle was maybe a little too delayed here, I'm not sure. He goes Griffin, Aviary, so maybe he's anticipating some sort of A-bomb. Maybe he's just okay adding a bunch of Griffins regardless of what's being made. Whoa.
Not much defense in the main, hey.
TP. XLorD has no TP.
Oh, doesn't want to get his Lich stuck there. That would be quite painful. Some militia being called. Sock has a big bank again. He's waiting for tier 3 to kick in and then really churn out those tier 3 units. Knights could be a big help, Griffins as well, and perhaps even a 3rd hero.
This Paladin scares me. Even in the previous fight, he was just sitting on the sidelines, just healing from afar, cheering them on. Go guys, you can do it.
I like the fact that he gave over the items as well. The clap is certainly strong. And with more mana potions, we're going to have more of those as well. Sock's army, though, at the moment, really tiny. XLorD can do big damage now, as he still has the stronger army, and it feels like he has to do just that right now.
Yeah, this pressure didn't allow Sock to buy staff, by the way. So if his Pala gets targeted correctly here, he's going to be forced to use Invuln and then eventually might die as well. Lich gets level 3. Those statues doing so much work here. He's positioning them so well and never really attacking with them. Great micro by XLorD. Those peasants, oof, that hurts.
Is there time for the Blood Mage? And where's he going to pop out as well? He needs to set the rally point towards the south. Down. Very important, otherwise the Blood Mage is instantly dead. Does he have the time? Just barely he does.
Okay, he can start siphoning away and giving all that mana to the Mountain King, who's going to chain clap. This is the first clap of many here. If you can get 5 claps in a row, those fiends are going to just melt.
Pally in trouble as well, but he's got good potion. Oh, the coil misses! It's a big kill on the Fiend. This time, though, we do have Frost Armor, so the Knight's not such insane of a counter. Lich, by the way, super low mana, can't cast any more Frost Armor at the moment, and you mentioned it, the Siphon being used here as well. More mana on the MK, the next clap comes in, and that's such a powerful ability now in this late game. Saving coil on the Dark Ranger, but XLorD is starting to run out of mana soon.
The Lich. Okay, he has a coil ready. Dark Ranger gets level 2. Frost Armor doing work, by the way, here.
Yeah, absolutely. But that Fiend still will go down. Sock holds once more. XLorD also very impressively, even when behind, finds ways back into the game. Would have been very easy to crumble way sooner this game, and it's still not quite over. But now Sock finally has almost all that the human race has to offer. He is tier 3, he's got the triple hero, he's got the Knights, the Gyros, and the Griffins coming. And if he stacks up on a couple more items and levels, he truly has everything that he needs.
Well, Griffins. Griffin. It's one at a time from this one, Aviary. Usually you want to get like 2 to 3 of them. They're really good, in particular against statues, which are not always the easiest to reach, but in this game it's so unexpected that there is no web right now. And yeah, against
no DK here.
Oh, but ideal as well. I mean, you might trap him there. It's really about flanking this army in a position where you take out a lot of the units very quickly, but silence was clutch. XLorD's beginning to kite towards his base. One of those fiends almost down. The bomb joined the game, perhaps only to die instantly. No, it's safe up by 1 coil. And still no staff was picked up by Sock. That's the biggest mistake, I think, this game, is that he never ran over to the expo where his merchant or his arcane vault is to make sure he grabbed that. He wants to fight. He doesn't want to give any air to XLorD.
Stormbolt plus Siphon on the Dark Ranger. She's losing lots of mana. The Blood Mage can give that over soon. Attacking the A-Bomb, I think not what you want to do. With the level 3 coil, that thing is so survivable, especially with Frost Armor on top. But Sock is having a tough time at the moment, connecting towards the Fiends. The clap still hurts, or hits rather, nicely. And the one Griffin now putting in the work against the heavy armor. Nothing's dying here just yet.
Yeah, both players doing a fantastic job microing. If that Blood Mage finally gets level 2, by the way, he's going to have access to Banish. And with Holy Light level 2 and Bolt level 2, that could be a deadly combo. The Knight on the chase, a critter blocked the Diablo on the left, and it actually went down.
Oh, mana potion though, coil flies, the Blood Mage very dead. The nuke is scary. Pally doesn't have enough mana. And XLorD's looking for more kills. His move speed is insane with that aura that he found, plus the one he has innately on DK. And this will force the invul
He's trying
potion.
to buy staff on time.
Oh,
Can he get the staff? Okay, with the invuln, that should be safe. Damn, the Paladin even being greedy. Hitting those statues a little bit. But yeah, XLorD added web here. He needs that against Griffins. Peace!
and we just heard the main expire. And this really is the time now ticking for XLorD. The longer that this game goes where he's not mining as opposed to the opponent, he will fall too far behind perhaps.
He might take center.
The Pally's stuck there, by the way. He's stuck there healing next to the castle.
Oh my god, the Mountain
MK.
King. That's the town portal. Oh my god. And he town portals inside of the main base on the bottom left. Oh my god. He could die. Gets coils. There is no more mana on the Death Knight.
Bloodmage has good mana. He can put it over on the Pally. He has to have more Holy Light. XLorD also so impressively. We keep praising Sok, but XLorD, he was so far behind. He almost finds the way to win the game, but still the army of Sok is enormous.
Oh my god, that Knight. Oh, he gets staffed. A Knight with 1 HP just got staffed.
And now the MK is healthy again. The Blood Mage was fed nicely with the Siphon. XLorD is expanding again in the middle. And he's got super strong heroes, but the one thing he's not gonna have is a level 5 Lich. With Lich only second, that is almost undoable. Dark Ranger eats the Stormbolt.
Yeah, XLorD won't have income for all the time that the Undead is being built in the middle. This is such a difficult fight. There's Militia all the time. There's so many nice 3 Griffins putting in work here. He's running out of mana. Siphon did a number on him. The statues, he needs to keep those alive. They're so low hit points right now. There's no more cord for a moment. The next Stormbolt and Clap might hurt, but the Mountain King is out of mana himself, transferring some mana over from the Blood Mage, who's still not level 2 somehow. The unit retention skills of both of these players incredible here in this game.
At long last, it seems like Sok is being rewarded for his insane play. How hard did he have to fight? How much did he have to struggle to wrestle this map away from XLorD? But now he's so close. XLorD, by the way, has started selling some of these items. These items would have been insane for him. But Sok didn't care about the bad RNG, because now he's looking to close out this game. Steps away, small steps away from the 2-1 lead, it would seem. Or can XLorD find another miracle? It seems impossible. He's got no mana left to do it.
And that's it. Sok takes the 2-1 leads with 2 Mountain King games. I'm never going to hear the end of this. Every time I'm going to open Archmage, somebody's going to be like, why don't you play Mountain King? Sok won 2 games.
You know, Czechi, he was smart to get out when he did, because he may be dodging the renaissance of the Mountain King. Back in the day, long time ago, MK was considered the norm and very strong indeed. And we didn't see the punish here, really. Normally, against the DK Ghoul Flood, the MK expansion can be very tough to make work. But Sok did get it up in the end, under great duress, with the Gargoyles also coming against the expansion. But I think the early game here was the big problem for XLorD. I still maintain that I think the creep route wasn't the best. You also had a good point, like if you go for the slower creep route, the MK may creep the expansion faster. But if you creep it that fast, without water elementals, I'm pretty sure you take tons of damage. And also then, you're not level 3.
Yeah, but the Undead's not there, so you just send back the peasants to your main base that are injured.
That's true.
But
you
are hard to finish off.
Split some into the main and skellies and stuff. I think there's an opportunity there to do big damage. But the big one certainly was trying to kill the MK, surround him with all that he had there, the expansion, and then just was getting massacred by
He had Ring and Gauntlet. That Mountain King wanted to be targeted like this. He enjoyed every moment.
He certainly did. Suits him as being a human player. They, you know, if you have masochistic tendencies. All right, guys, I think the players requested a little bit of a break, understandable after this amazing series already. So we're going to throw it over into a short intermission, and then we'll be right back with map 4.
But you can never walk alone. But you can never walk alone. On the way to being free. Where are you? But you can never walk alone. On the way to being free. Where are you? Where are you? But you can never walk alone. On the way to being free.
And here we are back again in the midst of the first series of the day. It's quite the long one already, quite the epic one already. XLorD versus Sock. It seems like most people had picked XLorD to be the favorite here. I certainly felt that way. I was a bit worried for Sock after the group stage. It was one map that saved him into this playoff stage to begin with.
It was Starbuck had to win 2-0 against Scars, and then Scars won a map, and then that meant Sock advanced, which is wild, almost being out in the groups, back from the dead.
Yeah,
and now again against the undead this time.
And how he has risen indeed. We may want to start calling him Lazarus, because that was tremendous. Even on the first map, it seemed like he wasn't too far away from getting a win there. Imagine that. Could have been a 3-0 maybe, but there we had the insane comeback being displayed by XLorD. But perhaps he has found the key. Perhaps the MK is the answer. It worked now twice. XLorD perhaps making a big mistake there in the early game on the map that we saw where the Ghoul Harass didn't work out so well. The remaining maps that we have, are we going to expect more MK?
Like I said, with Sock, anything's possible. Now he's won twice with Mountain King. He's got 2 match points. The vetoes were really weird, by the way. He vetoed Rusty Creek, which is okay, but XLorD vetoed Autumn Lives. Not your typical veto, I think, for Undead Against Human, is it?
Yeah, I wonder why. XLorD was specifically concerned about MK, and as now we can all see for good reason, with the MK, if you expand into the corner, is he worried about that one being too far away for him to harass? Maybe. Yeah, what to do against Mountain King? Is it time to go back to old school playstyle? Ted Fiend build, is that worth considering?
No. Probably. Actually, like with Mountain King, I think you're kind of happy if you see Ted Fiend. I mean, there's a reason Checky stopped playing, right? No, like really, no joking. I think Mountain King against DK usually is like an okay matchup. The best thing you can do is what we just saw XLorD do with the Gargs. And I thought he was doing fine, to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised somehow a tower got up at the expansion. It kind of feels like that's what should not have happened. Because there was no rifle on the map, and he already had like, what was it, like 6 Gargs up? So then instead of going back into ghouls, he should have just kept on making Gargs, because then whatever rifle comes out, he just puts like DK, some Skellies, and the Gargs on, keeps getting out of there, and then he keeps on killing peasants the whole time at the expansion. And then he gets level 5 way quicker than he did here, and then we're looking at a very different game. But eventually, I feel like he was almost leaving the game as well, if that had happened. Usually that's what would happen, but somehow he managed to get some towers up.
Yeah, it was right on the edge. So how close did Sock get to losing the game right there? Not just breaking the Expo, but also in the late game, the Pally almost dying, the MK almost dying, the Blood Mage dying plenty of times. And XLorD, I was quite impressed with that as well. After having been mined out for so long, being able to stay competitive against a human opponent who's not just mining, but building a huge army. Very impressive also what XLorD was able to do. But, you know, once the statues got taken out, once the mana was gone, finally Sock was able to pull through there in the end. And this is a wonderful series that we're witnessing so far. In my opinion, certainly the series of the tournament. Still up in the air. Who's going to take this? And Lawlight is wondering which opponent he's going to be receiving next, because the winner of this will play against Lawlight in the third series of the day. But there's no time to think about that for the two players here. They have to concentrate now on this series, and we're getting ready to witness map number 4. Let's go in. How about Pally first?
Yeah, this is the map for it usually. If he were to go for it. But no, it's an Archmage.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to predict what XLorD's going to do here as well, right? If you suck, you just won twice with Mount tanking first. What do you expect him to go into? And it's a Death Knight. Are we going to get... Okay, no, it's not going to be old school builds because XLorD is playing a Death Knight Ghouls, not quite a TED build here otherwise, or TED Fiend. He would have gone Graveyard otherwise. Is XLorD just wanting to harass a bunch, or does he want to do his own Death Knight Expo here?
We see a Stick Acolyte. So indeed, it does seem like the expansion is going to be the plan. Expansion not too hard to set up here on this map. Not the hardest or easiest to creep. Somewhere in the middle is the expansion here. And also, it always seems like you have a good avenue to defend with. Like the two bases are nicely connected with a path that's only open to you pretty much, that the opponent can't enter too easily. There's a couple of creep camps around as well. And there is a Merc camp on this map, but that one is being ignored so far by Sok.
Yeah, he's doing a small camp right outside his main instead. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to expo there. I don't think I've seen Sok be one of those humans that plays one base rifle into castle with inner fire, and it's his favorite strategy. But
he's running to the middle. He's playing aggro.
Oh my god. So he might actually play a one base rifle. I don't think I've seen it from him very often, but yeah, like I said, he has too much points. If he wants to try something like that here, thinks that gives him a good chance.
He's only creeping with 3 ghouls. With 3 ghouls, I don't think this is a safe camp. With 4 ghouls, maybe, but with 3, I think he's going to get bullied away here. XLorD's going to have to give up the expansion, but he gets the item at least. Ensnares fly, ghoul's going to fall.
Oh, it was denied.
It was denied, true. That's also important. Archmage still fairly far away from level 2.
Yeah, he can do some camps near his base with just militia, though. Like that small green right below it would be nice to get. Now, those creeps are just denying left and right, aren't they?
Yeah, XLorD, I think, getting surprised here. He was expecting for Sok to go for the fast expansion, but instead, Sok is now teching. And this game is going to be forced into a one base scenario where things get weird. Normally, we're used to seeing expansions. Now it's going to be one base on both sides. And who does that favor?
Actually, well, XLorD has a choice here. Does he insist on taking the expo, or does he tech? He ends up teching, but yeah, his tech is a little bit behind. I think XLorD is pretty good against one-base rifle, or any type of rifle builds. I've seen him play against them often, and usually he would just go into, tri-hero, sometimes with the CRIPLord thirds, A-bombs. He will know when to harass, he will know when to use the mobility, right? Because you're on one base. He can just go around with Anoliora, dive for those peasants, then TP out and stuff like that.
And here now we see the militia creep that you were referring to. That's final level 2 for the AM. And more mana. And he's going to creep the rest of the expansion here. Interesting. Opening that one up. And Acolyte sitting, or XLorD rather, sitting Acolyte there. Another ensnare! These trolls have caused a lot of violence and death. And XLorD's expansion won't come up so sneakily.
These trolls ain't loyal.
I like how that even rhymes, kind of. All right, what do we get here? Sok, what's he going to do when he lands on tier 2? Is he going to just push through with tier 3, or is tier 2 expanding worth considering?
I think nowadays we almost never see tier 2 expand. I think the Happy was like the last one to do it. It's not someone that plays human all the time. So I'm thinking he might go tier 3, but yeah, it's Sok, honestly. Like, this guy is capable of doing anything. It feels like a lot of the time he just doesn't decide in advance. He kind of, free flows and decides on the spot later on. I do think playing castle is probably the superior style and strategy there, especially on a map like this, right? Because you have to contest the center camps, fight for the reds and stuff, and you may be able to do some of them in the mid game quicker than the opponent with rifles because your opponent's playing ghouls.
Yeah, speaking of rifles, that's also what I would be expecting. And one thing we haven't seen so far is inner fire rifles. Priests paired with them can work out pretty well. Those priests can not only use Dispel, but also inner fire.
Dispel.
MK second and Sanctum coming. Lumber on Sok looking decent. He's going to have enough for the tech soon, but can't rush through it with it right away. This is where XLorD can take the tech lead.
Let's see what item. Wards. Very good item.
Oh, the Skelly expired. He couldn't go through with the telestaff.
Oh my god, he's going to see the entire map here with 2 wards. Evasion picked up on the other side. And we have the Mount tanking on the way, the Sanctum. If he wants to tech to Castle, probably has to start that very soon. We see the tech starting earlier now for XLorD, even though his tier 2 was reached later on. Lumber economy of Sok is actually not amazing here. I don't know how many peasants he had like when he teched. I guess obviously you have to spend a lot of lumber on stuff. Yeah, he goes for long rifles. That's the most expensive thing here, lumber-wise.
And Sok is feeling quite strong right now, and I think for good reason, right? You get the level 3 Archmage, you got the MK now joining, and with that, Stormbolt has decent kill threat. So XLorD wisely pulls back the ghouls, doesn't want to engage them, but with a DK solo, he's still willing to look for some plays. Oh, and he gets the last steal, nicely done.
How many ghouls does XLorD have exactly in his main base? Can we check? I'm curious, because there are many ways to play against this. You can get a lot of ghouls, then go into Frenzy, and then try to take one big fight when you have Frenzy and Orb.
Yeah.
Or you can cut ghouls, which I think is what he's doing, and wait until you're tier 3, get a XLords, get a bunch of A-bombs. Okay, yes, quite a few of them, but he's not making any more. He's not overcommitting on ghouls. Obviously, that would be pretty bad, like if you end up losing a lot of them to clap and then you can't recover. I wonder what third hero. I mentioned XLorD a bunch of times. It can be a good option. Like obviously when you're facing Rifle Priest, there is Dispel, so silence can be dealt with.
Here's the Nova. Some good damage onto the rifles. Oh, saving these is a big deal if they can be saved. But no, the long swords of the Skellies. Wait a minute, where's the Lich going? Caught on the wrong side of the tracks, but will be able to get away. Maybe Sok a bit too bold with the size of this camp that he's taking here.
Woo! Well, there's still some more bolts, but not enough units close by to get the surround. Yeah, XLorD is slowing down the creeping of that Mount tanking beautifully here. And yeah, Castle quite a bit later than Black Citadel. Now he goes into Dispel, or Adept Priest Training rather.
It does appear to me like against the Ghoul build, you do want to have Clap. But I think I've seen Sok skip that before, even against the Ghoul build, and rather go with the Bash. We'll see what he's going to choose here in a moment. He's going to have the pleasure to decide. And it is Clap. Okay, I like that. If you land one nice Clap into, say, 6 ghouls to start off the fight, can make a big difference.
Oh my god, he gets flutes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh my. The absolute dream here. You're going Rifle Caster, you find flutes. All of your rifles are going to do extra damage. He starts +2 already. And right now he's the one with all the creeping momentum in the world. XLorD, he's got Ghoul Frenzy on the way. He's going to pick up an orb. And now the question is, does he want to creep himself or does he want to try and go and contest? Sok, maybe try and take a fight before Mount tanking would be level 3. It looks like he wants to creep himself, go straight for the red down there. He might get his own red and then go and contest the one on the other side.
Yeah, I've heard XLorD say before that he feels like the red camp is too easy to snipe on this map, the item that is, and we're seeing that being displayed here in his choice. Pulling out the Magnetor Reaver, taking that one right away. But I think Sok's super happy to just be left alone right now. He's still having to wait for his tier 3 upgrades to come in, and
terrible
creeping
item
in the meantime.
That's complete garbage, isn't it? Cloak of Flames.
I feel like it could be decent later, especially if he makes a transition to Banshee's anti-magic to protect the DK and then AoE, DPS and so on.
Bro,
But
really?
Yeah.
The DK standing in there like a Demon Hunter, burning everything?
Yeah. Every little bit matters, Todd. Yeah, in my opinion, the way better counter to Inner Fire Rifles is Fiends and Banshees. But getting to a strong Fiend Banshee army is a little bit harder when you're going for that Ghoul build opening. And for that reason, I think Inner Fire Rifles 1 base just way better against this build compared to Ted Fiends.
XLorD stealing the expansion creep here from Sok. Usually when you've crept a whole side of the map and then you run out of camps, you want to run into the opponent's main base, force the town portal or force him to come back and then TP to the other side and then go and creep the other side. We see the lab at the top right. He's one of the only big camps that's left with the one in the center, the orange. But Sok just so happens to be near his main base, and actually the skeletons kind of brought him back in position to get there and defend. So he picks up Orb and Staff. He's still, I guess he's going to want to bank on 50 here for a little bit.
Or find some easy kills if he can. MK is looking for a target. He's very strong now, this Mountain King. Almost level 4 already. He was power creeping like crazy. DK, uh-oh, a little too far away. The silence misses. DK might be forcing the TP. Claps ready. There it is. It's an easy TP forced. The rest of the camp will go to Sok.
This is very bad for XLorD, because now Sok gets this entire camp. Look, he's moving the Mountain King and Archmage away. So he's going to get Pala 2 from this maybe, and then he can go to the lab at the top to maybe try and get Pala 3, which would be absolutely amazing for him. But that's why we see XLorD run back down to, I think, in anticipation of Sok potentially going into the top right, he might dive for those peasants at least once. He broke up Keepak actually already. Whoa! He didn't bank for very long at all. XLorD might just want to take a fight here and then try and, you know, do really well or win from there already.
We get more upgrades coming in the meantime for Sok, by the way. Armor upgrades now for the rifles as well.
And wards again! Sentry wards. He could take some great map control here. And those last few camps, I mean, it's really the one, the lab at the top, I think, that's left over. So using the words. I'm surprised that XLorD broke up keep this quick, to be honest. Feels like he could have banked for like way longer instead on 50.
He's got double heal scroll. With those items, maybe he can take a very favorable fight. In fact, it seems like Sok is moving out quite awfully far from his main base.
Damn. Clap level 2 hurts. Yeah, you want multiple destroyers against rifles with inner fire there, so you can get rid of all the inner fire. See what Sok is doing? He goes in, then he pulls back, and he forces the army to be clumped so that he can clap all of it, like he's doing now.
XLorD is able to dodge some of these claps with the ghoul splits, but some of them are still going down. MK used a lot of his mana, and now with the MK so low mana, this might be the time for XLorD to take over. With more kills, he's going to get more skellies as well. And the German has a supply lead and may get even worse over time. The rivals have good DPS. The MK, though, not much mana left in the tank. Must be very sure of how he uses these few spells that he has. Lich gets level 3. That's a big level up right there. Militia coming from the main base, trying to help out. The DK getting storm bolted. Attempting to surround maybe, but that doesn't work out. The Nova is huge!
He doesn't have a TP on the DK. He really wants to be careful. There's no invulns. Okay, hero target could have been deadly on the human heroes. He bolts the Finn here. One last kill for Sok as he gets out of there. And he gets out of the fight here with 48 supply against 54. And actually didn't kill too much. We see his Pala is still like ways off from level 3. And now that last camp on the map will go to XLords with, I mean, he probably wants to get Dark Ranger level 3, I guess, right?
Yeah, he certainly should. Creep her to level 3 solo here. And it's going to be a big level up for him. That Black Aura on level 2 is very strong. And XLorD is starting to transition into Fiends, more and more away from Ghouls. And he does have the option open, especially with all this lumber, to go Banshees. I still think that's the right call here, to go Banshees, because there's no expansion, like, forcing the issue. So there is time still to take it slow. And XLorD didn't solo creep the Dark Ranger, by the way. That does seem like a bit of a mistake.
Sok still saving gold. He might just sit in his base, kind of like in an old school bear mirror, up until he's mined out, and then break up keep, get as much as he can, and long distance mine from the expo. That might be the best option. Yeah, XLorD on 60 supply. There might be some creep left down there on the red, because it's still appearing on the minimap. Yeah, he only took the Magnetor. So maybe that's why he didn't pull back the heroes. He knew he could still do this and get Dark Ranger level 3 here before the next fight.
Yeah, true. That is going to be another big upgrade for XLorD, who already has the stronger army. At 60 supply, this force is looking quite strong indeed. But also we must consider the upgrades, where we got 2-1 on the rifles already, and I think the 3-1 is coming as we speak. Footy scouts things out. And this is where the game gets a bit weird, where players have to get creative sometimes. There's no creeps left, there's no expansion, there's no easy point to pressure or clear objective to go for. So the next step here to choose, hard to tell what the perfect one is.
Yeah, both players have some very stacked inventories. We see 2 invulns for XLorD, double healing scroll, and on the other side, obviously, True Shot is amazing, but look at those heroes, their tankiness. Greater healing on the Paladin. We got Ring and invuln on the Mountain King, so lots of survivability. And I think the engagement is going to be key here for either player. Despite the supply difference, if Sok fights in a tight area where he can clap everything, that would be amazing. That would be the ideal scenario for him. And he got a mana pot. I was going to say, it's very easy when you have bolts and clap to run out of mana very quickly, but now he makes sure he has that covered as well with that mana potion.
Oh, Sok is expecting this attack to come in. We just saw the destroyers getting morphed. XLorD is looking for the engage. Sok is trying to pre-split to have the perfect way to start off this fight. He can call militia as well, of course. Now inner fire being used. MK with the first clap hits nicely. The ghouls pass by him, looking for the kills in the back. First staff was used. Great kiting. Wonderful micro by Sok. He's not losing much here at the start. But the ghouls also make it to the back line. MK can't connect with the clap. That one hit basically nothing. But the ghouls also slowly getting taken care of. More upgrades finished. The rifles now have 3-1. The damage is insane, especially with inner fire. DK in the midst of everything. One destroyer falls, but 3 are still left. The water elementals still a non-issue. The militia damage against the fiends not too bad, but they're also getting turned slowly into skeletons. Supply-wise, XLorD's got the lead, and Sok is looking to be in a bit of trouble here. Trying to find more experience on the Paladin. Level 2 Holy Light would be a big deal, might be a game changer, but XLorD is finding more and more kills. These skellies turning out to be so strong right now. Water elemental summoned, but quickly getting dispelled. This one is not being a big help at all, it seems like. We've got a few rifles left, and that was the big level up. Level 3 Pally and Sok seems to hold.
And he still has the
Down
mana
by 10
pot.
supply. With a mana pot, yeah.
He still has the mana pots, might use that in a second. Dark Ritual will deny one of those fiends here. XLorD might need to pull back. Cup half full, I guess. He's back in no upkeep.
What a hold by Sok. How easy would have been to crumble right there. But the fact that he was able to minimize the rifle losses for quite some time. Of course, some went down. You can't stop that. But anyways, we keep fighting. MK has the mana potion still ready. Dodges the storm.
Oh
with
my
the
god.
DK
Point
info.
blank.
He was ready for that one. XLorD saw it coming, and Sok may have pushed out a little too far out the main base. And now he's suffering the consequences. One rifle died already. The next one could fall. But the Holy Light should be ready.
XLorD was forgetting his statues here for a little bit. They're not right behind his army. They're a little bit further back, so they're not being active. Big mistake. Trying to go for all the priests and rifles first here. No, he goes for the pally, but there is greater healing on time. Perhaps a big overcommitment. Whoever chases, it feels like it's always wrong there.
Yeah, XLorD didn't check the inventory. Didn't know the Pally had that safety button. In fact, he has another safety button. That's the Divine Shield, if it's not on cooldown. Destroyers using more and more of their Disple, but have to fall back. MK getting very close also to level 5, which is going to be scary. Lich also close to 4. This game is a tug of war. Still impossible to tell who's going to come out on top.
And Sok on the chains here. Like he really, I think he can tell that those heroes are low on mana. From XLorD, Lich level 4, your favorite level. Can we get that back to Warcraft emote, the +4?
Intelligence.
Made for Remo, but never gets used.
Baby. And look at Sok, dude. I love the confidence from this guy. He's not just huddling in the main base, terrified of the undead, as so many other humans rightfully are. Excuse me. He's expanding instead, feeling now very strong with these powerful heroes that he has, and also the rifles 3-1 upgraded. This seems to be the big downside for XLorD. He has no upgrades and also no banshees. With more upgrades on fiends and with anti-magic and curse, he would be way more on par. I think XLorD has just made the mistake of falling too far behind tech-wise.
And now he's going to save gold for the remainder of whatever he's got left to mine. He gets Disease Cloud and Burrow. So 2 utility upgrades. That means he's going to want to add some bombs and also have more initiative. I mean, there is no dust, right, on Sok. So it's ideal if you can start saving some fiends with Burrow. And it looks like he might want to start an expansion. I guess he must have around 2k gold left to 1500 in the main, if we could look in both mains. Yeah, 1k1 and 1k. Yeah, that's a good time. By the time it's mined out, the Haunted Gold Mine on the Expo will be done.
And this was a scary moment for Sok. He was getting attacked in the main base. He didn't have a TP to come home. If he loses all the peasants there, that is so painful. But all the peasants survived.
XLorD breaks upkeep. I thought he would wait until he had mined out that last 1000, but I think he's hoping he might catch Sok off guard, I guess. Just get a lot of units and then re-attack, this time with A-bombs to tank at the front.
And he didn't scout Sok's expansion yet, but does he have a sense? That might be the case. If you see 0 lumber peasant in the human's main, that is kind of suspicious, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there is literally no peasant on lumber on this side, at least. Which is scary, like he might run out of lumber, but I guess there's so little gold left. Look at this guy. Crouching destroyer, hidden undead army.
XLorD now considering his next move. He is setting up a ziggurat at the expansion at long last. Perhaps XLorD will be on 2 bases, but Sok's got it standing already. The destroyers doing mostly scouting and also serving as distraction, forcing Sok to be concerned with defending right now, while XLorD is finally setting up the expansion.
Damn, this destroyer is actually going to find some damage there. And Death Knight 4.7, if he starts getting a bit of 3 XP. Oh my god, the destroyer! Oh! and he loses one. Oh my god, that cannot happen.
That's a huge mistake.
Archmage and Mountain King are 4.7. He's going to get in there. But Sok is very close by.
He was
Exo's
baiting
going to have
with
to TP
rifles.
immediately. This is not going to be worth at all.
He was baiting with the rifles, and now Sok is ready to bring down
Oh my
the
god,
hammer.
the Lich. He already coiled. He needs to coil now and then TP out. Lich needs to squeeze in there. XLorD being very greedy. Oh my god, he's staying. He's getting rid of all the peasants, getting some extra experience, forcing Sok in an awkward position.
Yes.
While he's expanding on the other side.
Sok isn't sure how to perfectly engage here. MK should probably be leading the charge. He's got lots of consumables. There's no way XLorD can really take a fight here, you would think. And now we're breaking through. Kolnova on the rifle right away.
Yeah, that's...
That didn't work out too well.
If you can kill the last few units here. Oh my god, the Lich can't get coiled. Does he force the invul? No, he gets out on time. Woo! Too close for comfort.
And to me, it seems like XLorD is absolutely not thinking about the expansion for Sok. If he had, I think behind this, he would have sent Frenzy Ghouls down there. But he didn't.
He is now, I think.
Ah, okay.
Actually, that's one of the rare times where he didn't do it when he needed to. Almost level 4 on the Dark Ranger, by the way. That's going to be a pretty good level. He has Black Arrow level 2, so that would be Silence level 2 added on. Maybe XLorD can just stand on Blight and camp his Expo and just keep on adding more units. The fact that he's 0-0 on Fiends is pretty painful, by the way. He feels like he really lacks damage. On the other side, we're 3-1 on those rifles. That's a big difference, and that's with Inner Fire potentially being added on.
Yeah, it seems like as long as the heroes are comparable in strength, the army for Sok should come out on top. More upgrades on Fiends, and again, I have to come back to Banshees. Would make a big difference, but XLorD has missed that timing. MK ready to clap in the front line. Dark Ranger kind of exposed. Eats the Stormbolt, but there's plenty of coils to be used. Is the Pally silence?
Feels like XLorD probably shouldn't engage. He should stay on Blight here with the Nerup Tower to slow something. Those ghouls, there's nothing to counter them. He needs to send back one rifle, maybe.
Yeah, Water Elemental could also have worked.
Look at the experience. DK is almost 5 from those peasants. He might get it.
Oh.
And he's on the chase. He's trying to intercept. He's trying to catch some units at the back here. He's challenging his inner jean jackets, being a scary monster.
He needs one kill. One single kill needed for level 5. The ghouls now pulled back with Frenzy. Of course, they're very swift. There's still some gold left in Sok's main base, by the way, but it can't be much. XLorD is again looking for some kills, but the MK is the first to find it. He also very close to level 5.
He's using the full mobility of his army there. But there's nothing in the main. You have come here for nothing.
How much gold is in that gold mine?
Maybe like 200? Yeah,
Yeah,
70.
Yeah, whatever. Takes out the blacksmith. That's going to mean no more rifle production for some time. Can be, of course, remade. XLorD still has a supply lead, but that has not really led to
He's
him
gonna
winning
counter.
this game.
Sok's countering. He's like, take that castle. I don't care. I'm going to shut down your expo. And there is not a necropolis at the expo, right? Oh, he cannot TP there. He has to TP in his main, then run over. XLorD might just... Does he just base race? He could maybe unsummon the expo.
With Inner Fire rifles, I'm pretty sure Sok has more damage against buildings.
I think he should just maybe unsummon, yeah.
Oh my god, now it gets weird.
Archmage has Town Portal. So now it's for Sok to make the choice. Does he Town Portal and defend? He could leave the Water Elementals to kill that expo.
If he TPs home, he's going to get Giga silenced. Everything's
Yeah.
going to be silenced. All the heroes, all the priests.
One wrong decision and you're out of the game here.
Oh, he got the solo experience from the Acolytes on the MK, so now he's level 5. That's beautiful. Hard to make the call. What are you even going to skill here now? Stormbolt or Clap?
I think clap, maybe. There is enough units that, like, if you get in the center and you clap everything, you're going to wear this army down. The Archmage almost 5. That's a key level. Brilliance level 3, big game changer in this type of game as well. But he never wins the base race, I think, here, Sok.
And this is what it seems to come down to. Base raise begins. Oh, the Acolyte is escaping. It would be important to take out all the workers to prevent new buildings coming up elsewhere.
Okay, steeping. But so is XLorD. It's a game of chicken.
Okay.
The thing is, XLorD can sell buildings. He could sell, like, maybe his crypt, maybe his altar, and retake Expo now. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on Sok to attack, maybe even on Blight.
That one priest is certainly dead.
Oh my god. Long way from home.
Now the game gets weird. No longer is it only about who wins the fights, but it's now about building elimination. The player with a more mobile army does have the advantage there, and that's of course XLorD thanks to the aura. He made one peasant to mine those 200 gold. Hell yeah.
Stonks.
Does he have a staff?
I think XLorD is gonna.
Good staff. How old my hero here to defend?
I think XLorD is gonna look to not take a fight and just go around. He's not sure where the army is maybe right now. With the destroyers across the map, he definitely cannot take a fight on his side of the map. Whereas Sok, he's the one that wants to force a fight. I don't know if there is a shade on the map. I don't think he maybe had time to get one, but that would be insane for map control because he could just keep tabs on this army beautifully. Oh, there is one. Oh, this is so sick.
Oh, XLorD's playing this real smart. Real smart. XLorD now clearly in the winning position, it would seem.
Run!
Oh, Stormbolt level 3. We see the choice now. That is quite a lot of damage.
He turned around for a sec. I don't think you can fight without destroyers.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because like if he turns on in a fire here, oh my god, he's fighting.
Oh, Pally silence! He didn't dispel it quick enough!
Maybe he can, Remo.
And there goes the Archmage without the aura. This seems to be out of reach. And we
Without
may
the
go
2 auras, actually.
Without the 2. That is all too true. DK low HP. The MK needs to be the one-man carry army. But XLorD's got so much mana, so many spells to work with, and now the Destroyers also return. XLorD with patience. Patented. XLorD play. Wait a minute. No way! Get the ledge!
Oh my god,
Out
what
of
is happening?
nowhere. Are you kidding me?
So that's orb effect completely gone now.
No.
So much of the damage
No.
is just out of there. The Mountain King still going crazy inside of this army. Neither player can remake the hero, I think. XLorD has to sell a bunch of stuff with his one Acolyte. He's trying to run away from this. They literally lost maybe 2 of the most important heroes that they had here just now.
What a crazy series this is, man. It looked like we were going to get map 5, but maybe we won't. Sentry getting caught. That's such a huge pickoff. Where's the DK? Didn't provide the aura. XLorD also lost 2 destroyers kind of unnecessarily. XLorD suddenly making big mistakes here in this ultra late game.
One ghoul is handling the base trade, Remo. One single ghoul.
That guy has a lot of work ahead of him.
Okay, I think XLorD can sell a bunch of stuff.
Yes. It is very fashionable nowadays to unsummon the altar. Hopefully for XLorD's sake, he didn't do that. He's going to sell some items here, perhaps. Invul, Mana Pot, you don't really want to sell those. Slippers don't give much.
The overlay shows the Lich alive, right?
Well...
Alright, maybe it's blacked out, but we can't really see because of the color. It's so expensive. Lich level 4. But he could unsummon some stuff. I don't know if he still has an Acolyte or not.
Yeah, let's take a look at the XLorD's main base. Then we see what's going on.
Okay, so he's selling a Zig, the Graveyards.
So the narrow...
Could do the Altar. If he's playing on instant reviving, might as well. And right now, headed to the Tavern.
I don't understand why he's going for the Tavern res, though. Yes, he's got the time.
And Sok is remaking the Archmage out of the Altar. He got enough gold. So 65 seconds.
yeah.
Can XLorD realize that this is happening and attack before that?
Dude, that
or is he going to let him get it? Like, does he get it back before the next fight begins? I think if XLorD knew, almost certainly he would start going across the map now. No, he's getting it himself
my God, okay.
from the Altar. They're both going to replenish their important hero before we get the final clash here.
Oh my goodness. Closing in on 30 minutes here on our 4th map. With the Lich returning, it does still seem like XLorD has the lead. Especially that Shade. How good is that Shade, by the way?
Yeah, no, that Shade is golden. Eventually a random clap might get it, but he will have done his job by then. Clarity on the Mountain King, I like that. Because he can't afford, or he couldn't afford any mana potion.
Yeah, the Soul Peasant has finally mined out the main base, by the way.
That guy did his job already as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Triple his portfolio in no time.
You know, never knew you had such appreciation for the peasants. Whenever I see your stream, they're all dying to your own towers.
Well, they're the worst unit in the game, but occasionally they come in handy, like in this one here.
Player's forces are under attack.
Let's do it, bro. Long distance mining from the natural. 2 gold per minute.
Archmage needs 5, pretty bad here. Like Mountain King, he's 5 from 5 actually. If he gets 6, I actually think you go clap level 3 here.
When it comes to the next fight, Sok must prioritize trying to dispel the silence on the Pally. That's what cost him the Archmage earlier. He didn't dispel fast enough. AM died. Disaster ensued.
Nice castle, Bray.
That means Sock's going to get revealed soon, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he knows that he barely has any buildings anyway. I don't think Sock can engage inside of the undead base here. That would be...
my
or
God.
maybe he sees one destroyer across the map. He's like, all right, you're going to destroyer there. I'm going to go
Wait.
for it. No, don't
He's really
do
going
it.
to go in.
Don't do it.
Sock! The thing is, the Lich is low mana. There's not many Novas.
Yeah, the Lich just came back. He needs to put that on mana. He must have it on healing.
Black Citadel took some... How did that building take damage, by the way? When did this happen?
Earlier, maybe.
It certainly wasn't later. All right. Dude, what a game. What a goddamn game and series. This is one of the craziest series I've seen in a long time. Acolyte ready to repair. That one's not for long for this world, though, I believe.
And the main goes down. A tier 3 main for a tier 3 main. You take down my castle, your Black Citadel's gone.
The destroyers... Wait. Did one destroyer still across the map?
XLorD wants to wear this army down, basically. He wants to get rid of all the priests, and then he can start coin-novaing the rifles one by one. He doesn't want to take a full engagement, because then the full nuke of those heroes is going to come into play. Especially like silence, right? It can't be dispelled here at this stage, when there is priest in the back.
And for this, also the Shade is helping, providing the vision for the long-range Coilanova, but now the Lich's out of mana, and now Sock is fully engaging. He knows he's going to get picked apart by Coilanova over time. So now he's going to take...
DK.
Oh! He's trying to go for the
Yes,
kill! He's got the clap, the Immo Potion transfer last second on a sliver of HP! MK in trouble as well, he's got the Immo Potion himself. DK trying to reposition, get to the back. The Hoylite is ready! He gets the kill by the power of the light! The other might be getting purged! The DK falls! What's going on here? How could this happen? XLorD eats something though. More mana on the Lich. Now it's the MK who's out of mana himself. He doesn't have a mana potion anymore. Without a DK, normally it's never supposed to be doable. But who knows what's possible in this game. XLorD calls it! GG! With one of the craziest comebacks ever. Sock defeats the German Meister and moves on. What a comeback and what a series.
That was insane here. Every single game absolutely epic. And here till the end, couldn't quite tell who was going to be able to do it. He attacked inside of the ended base and somehow pulled through. That poor Death Knight, man.
Oh my God.
Really could have used some more items. That invuln, you know, like, I guess you don't want it on the DK by default because the Lich is like so squishy, but maybe it should have been on the DK. And whew, that nuke and micro by Sock here, just perfectly on point.
Yeah. Crazy ultra late game that we had there. The bigger mistake probably by XLorD was when he killed the Archmage, then losing the Lich in return.
Yeah.
And losing 2 destroyers as well. I think that certainly could have been handled a bit better. Not sure what the issue there was, but Sock, man, what a performance. And again, in the group stage, he was almost eliminated. 1 point was missing there for Starbuck to be able to do it, but no, Sock advances and will be part of the top 4. His next opponent is going to be Lawlight. There's going to be a rematch from the group stage, and he's going to have to improve there, because that was not a close series at all, but he's going to have some time to prepare. Of course, the next game coming after is going to be another one. And of course, we want to hear from the winner himself. We got an interview lined up with Sock.
What a war! And what a deserved win for Sock.
Yeah.
When you arrived here in Hamburg, you told me human cannot beat UD.
My item so imba. This game. Yeah.
But his items was also Imba.
No, me more imba. Yeah.
You are indeed pretty Imba, Sock.
Yeah.
You are like the best human player in the world. Do you feel like it as well? Like the best?
No.
Who else?
Shemiko or in PTH, but in PTH not play human, but in PTH still king human. Yeah.
For me, you are the king. And
Danke. Thank you.
Learning some German here over the weekend. Your next opponent is Lawlight.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I will revenge. Yeah.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. So you go into the grand final later?
It is so hard, but I will do my best.
Of course. So you eliminated the German player, but the crowd is still very loud for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything to the crowd once again?
Thank you.
And that's it from the stage, everybody. Sock is in the semi-final, and we go back to the studio.
Indeed, we do. We had a 2.5 hours, 2.5 hour series almost. So that was quite the sight. What a way to start off the final day here. XLorD versus Sock. We didn't think that. I think we assumed that XLorD would be the favorite here. Took the first map in very convincing fashion, and after that, he kind of crumbled. He looked a little bit shaky here and there, and Sock was like perfect to distract him on all fronts, right, and make it difficult for him to make decisions that make sense in order to edge out these games. And in the long run, Sock won 3 in a row, and XLorD is out of the tournament now.
Yeah, that was just an excellent series. I mean, honestly, if it went Game 5, it's a contender for one of the best series in maybe even the last couple of years. Like, it had the perfect balance of strategic macro games and also not necessarily macro games, but just pure micro. Like, 2 of those games was essentially just fighting the entire time.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, I was just sitting here watching the games with you for a while. I was watching Game 3, and I started tearing up. I was like, this is some beautiful Warcraft. I can't believe that. I haven't felt that so far. We've had great games, of course, this weekend, but that was something else. That was definitely the best series we've had so far at the Arcadia World Series. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that was definitely a whole nother level from what we've seen the other days.
Yep.
We have, I think, 6 clips
Yep.
from the game because our beautiful people in the production provided us with some crucial moments, and you are going to analyze them for us, for our viewers,
Yep.
and also for me because I'm a dummy. So let me see what we got here.
All right, so we could jump into our clips. We have this is from the first game. What I would argue is the most crucial part of the game. So this is the point where Sock Zeppelin dropped those 2 tanks. Very, very important. He takes the fight at XLorD's expansion. Zeppelin drops the 2 tanks with +1 damage. If they don't have that +1 damage, it's very hard to kill that haunted gold mine without the 3rd tank. And then he forces XLorD to have an ultimatum: fight the army or fight the tanks. You can't kill the tanks; they take too long, and the gold mine goes down. But then, after Sock does this huge play, he actually makes a mistake, and this is quite a complicated sort of thing. He backs away. He runs away from the tanks. And I'll just pause this for 1 second right here. This is kind of a complicated strategical concept, but when you're on the defense, when you have to back away from your opponent, a lot of the time it's actually a bad idea to back away to your own base because you have nowhere left to run. The only place you can go is to run literally into the back of your base, and then you have nowhere to kite. So in this situation, Sock runs back after that Zeppelin tank drop, and he goes to his expansion, forcing himself to now defend his expansion with his army. What he should have done here is instead most likely just stay on the aggressive, not necessarily taking the fight, but running around the map away from his base. Because now what XLorD does to eventually win this game is he just keeps on kiting like we see there a little bit, and then he eventually gets Lich level 6 with just doing a ton of damage, and with the aura, with the extra mana from the statues, just picking off units, gets level 6, kills the expansion, and this is all a result of Sock going on the defensive at his expansion at the wrong point in the game. So he should have just backed away, probably gone, maybe to the bottom left of the map and just force XLorD to chase him in different places as opposed to in the back of his base. So that was game 1. It obviously a crazy game. Mistakes are going to be made. And then going into game 2, I think one clip definitely explains this whole game. So Sock kind of whiffs the block here. Stormbolt comes out, and then XLorD gets a surround against the trees to save his Lich. Potion of Invulnerability was used after this, and the surround was eventually broken out of. But that was what this whole game was. I mean, we could show 50 clips here, but it was just that macro game. The first game, very strategical. The second game, pure micro, I should say. Micro the whole time we saw the Zeppelins. And then a couple of clips from the third game, the second to last. We had, this is almost a classic game in a way. We have the Mountain King first, which was an old school style, maybe 7 years ago. It was played a ton. And then the Gargs were always an approach that you would see against this. And the Gargs actually work not too well. We have rifles and flying machines on the side of Sock. He also has Thunderclap to deal with the ghouls on the ground, and he got the perfect counter. And then we actually transitioned to an even more standard sort of old school style, DK Lich Dark Ranger versus MK Paladin Blood Mage, and just Fiends, Statues, Destroyers versus Knight Flying Machine eventually. So this is a very standard game, 2 base human, 1 base undead. This is what we used to expect, maybe 5-6 years ago, almost every single game. So that's it for the clips. That's the first 3 games, and then of course that fourth game, again, another game where I could have had 50 highlights from that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what the hell we just saw there on Springtime. That was ridiculous, that last game.
Yeah, it was so crazy. I think like we were sitting here talking about like when the mains started like to go get like really low. We were like, this is going to be a base race, I assume, and then both of them went for expansions. Both these expansions got canceled because none of them had a TP. So, no, I think. No, they had a TP, but they just didn't want to,
Because the silence that Remo pointed out, right? TPing into silence, then you're clumped, you have no inner fire casted, you have no healing, and you're just pretty much dead. So.
Exactly. So there was no incentive for them, or like it was too scary to TP there because you don't want to lose your army when you're just trying to rebuild like an expansion and you're like so out of gold and whatnot. And so we had this base race situation. We were thinking about like, well, Undead can sell buildings if they need to rebuy their Lich, for example, but that makes the base race a little bit easier, and that's exactly what happened in the end. Sock with like, I think, 15, he was 15 supply down, but the triple hero, especially the level 3 on the Paladin, made such a big difference in the last fight there. It looked like he was untouchable for the, I think, 15 supply ahead army of XLorD.
Yeah, and it just comes down to the heroes, really, at the end of the day. It was actually funny, the last moment in the game when that Death Knight was about to die and XLorD passed the potion of vulnerability, I wish we always had a highlight of the player cameras there, because I noticed XLorD scratched his nose as the DK was still stunned with his keyboard hand. He scratched his nose and then he brought it down, passed the potion of vulnerability with his mouse hand, and then popped it after scratching it. Though, just absolutely ridiculous. The DK eventually died because level 3 Stormbolt pretty strong, but again, just another one of those micro games, just like Game 2, Game 4, very similar. Just, you could talk about the strategy all day. You could talk about, the one base rifle caster, the tier 3, where they move on the map, the destroyer base race. But, it's so volatile. Any mistake, any hero loss can cost you the game. And that's really what it comes down to. Who cares about the strategy? It's the mechanics, it's the micro. And that's, where Sock really shines.
Yeah, I think so as well. And well, Sock made it into the semifinal where he's going to meet Law Lyot later today. Now we are throwing you guys into a break and we'll be back with Foggy versus Sowen afterwards. So stay tuned and stay on the channel.